I want Tim to add like a big heavy metal blast beat to that theme. You think that would work? No. Okay.
No.
Okay. It's Friday, May 26th. Let's get in the weeds. It's the end of the week, so clearly we're already feeling real good. I'm at Joel Pearl, and we've got a really fun show today. Before we tee things up, as always, Mr. Jeremy Lambert is here doing his thing. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm well. It's Friday. Feeling good on a Friday. Is there anything good on this weekend, Joel?
Rampage is actually back to its regularly scheduled spot this week.
Oh, that's good. We got game 6 against the Celtics and the Heat on Saturday. That's going to be a great game. Did you watch the game last night?
No, Thursdays are like my hell night when it comes to work. I have to do Impact. I have to set up this show. I have to set up the Impact show. I have to watch Impact. I have to talk about Impact. There's a lot to do on a Thursday night. I pulling the curtain back. I didn't go to bed until about 1 a.m. and I was up at 6 this morning. So I'm sleep deprived and bags under my eyes, but I did not watch game 6.
You don't have to do. It was game 5 last night, Joel. Get it right.
I also said the Celtics and Lakers in the finals as like a total slip, and here we are. Gonna get the opposite of that.
You don't have to do any of these things, Joel. You choose to do them.
That's my line of thought. Stop it.
Yeah, you don't need to do any of these. No one forces you to watch Impact.
It's part of my job.
Yeah.
Who's gonna do it? I mean, it's not my fault. Ring of Honor decided to run a 19,578 match show, run for 3 hours. That was wild. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it ate into what would normally be a co-stream. It would normally be Kate and last night Kyle Sparks, but instead they ended up going live at 10 p.m. Eastern, which would be the same time that we would normally start the Impact Post show, because typically the Ring of Honor show goes a couple hours from 7 to 9. Then Reg and Kate would take over, do an hour, and then we would do the second hour. But everything got jumbled up because Ring of Honor decided to run a ridiculously long card last night.
Yeah, and you guys got destroyed in the ratings by my press conference yesterday.
Boy, did we ever. I don't know why you decided to do the press conference. I don't know what we're doing having press conferences on Overbooked.
Why not? Like, why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we do a media call on Fightful Overbooked? It's the perfect kind of nonsense for this channel.
Somehow our press conference lasted longer than the Impact one that was on Facebook.
Yeah, because ours is good.
Oh no, don't say that too loud. We'll get upset. Don't say that. Content, that's right.
I'm sure the Impact press conference was fine. They brought up the big stars for that one. Macklin was there, right? PCO, Deanna, and Jordan. Like, they were all there for that press conference, just like we had the big stars for our press conference. Right, Joel?
Yeah. It wasn't Brian Myers, Hotch and Schuyler, and local independent wrestler Tyler Turva, who, by the way, I love all those guys. I really do. I think they're all very talented, and I get to watch Tyler Turva anytime he's working at Toronto Indie. I just don't know why an entire press conference was kind of centered around him and Myers in the good hands.
We'll do more overbooked press conferences, Ryan. I promise. I don't know when. I don't know why. Just like I don't know why we did one yesterday, but it worked. People seem to enjoy it for some reason.
Well, we got plenty of stuff to talk about today, plenty to preview. And of course, in a couple of minutes, we're going to be joined by Coastal Championship Wrestling's own Gangrel. And if the name sounds familiar, Gangrel has had a career worth noting almost everywhere in professional wrestling. We're going to talk about Coastal Championship Wrestling, his role there, not only as a head trainer, but also as an active competitor. We're going to talk about his career in wrestling. Very excited for that. I have questions about a certain movie that he just is starring in or is about to star in. So we're looking forward to that conversation very shortly once he's here and ready for us. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Night of Champions. We're going to preview AEW Double or Nothing, NXT Battleground, Impact Under Siege. Jeremy, there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and I'm excited to talk to Gangrel. How do you feel?
I'm so excited to talk to Gangrel. When we set this up yesterday, the wife is a big fan, loves the theme music loves the theme music. The Brood theme just comes running whenever it's on. And she's just like, please just tell him how much I love his theme music. That's all I want you to do. Just please tell him how much I love the Brood theme music. I will tell you. But Gangrel, yes, had a very storied career, still having a career involved with Coastal Championship Wrestling now. I'm super excited to talk to Gangrel. This is when we started doing this show, I didn't know what to expect out of this show, but interviewing someone like Gangrel, who's like done and seen it all in the business, was not something I like really expected. So that's pretty cool. I got to say, the fan in me is very excited for this.
Well, he is backstage right now, just to pull the curtain back a little bit. If he can hear me and if he's ready, he can give me a thumbs up and maybe we can just get on started. He's given me a thumbs up, so I guess we're just going to dive right in. We say it on the show. We love it when people come early, and this is one of those times. Ladies and gentlemen, from Coastal Championship Wrestling, from around the entire wrestling world, we're going to talk to him right now, the one and only Gangrel. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Man, Fangin and Bangin 24/7. What's going on, guys?
Well, it's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Right off the top, Coastal Championship Wrestling, we just want to get this first plug out of the way. You guys do have tapings coming up May 27th, May 28th at the CCW Arena in Pompano Beach, Florida. Get your tickets over at coastalchampionshipwrestlingfl.com. Did I get it right?
Yeah, sort of, yes.
Okay. What I do wrong?
I might have a Coastal shirt on because I had to go do some. I didn't get into it 4 a.m, so you got to forgive me. And I was up at 5:30 running errands, and it's hectic, man. Like I said, it's 24/7. But there are tapings. It is at Coastal's venue, but it's a different brand. It's Championship Wrestling from Florida, the old CWF. So with Kevin Sullivan heavily involved, and bringing back that retro feel and the old Florida style of wrestling and stuff like that. So it's a very exciting weekend. Tough weekend to do it on Memorial Day weekend. I would love more myself to be at the beach as a vampire. I'm a tanpire, but I took this weekend off to work on this project. So we're going to be there this weekend. We got 2 tapings, one at 6 on Saturday, one at 4 o'clock on Sunday. But I'm very excited about it. Being a Florida guy growing up here in South Florida, born and raised. And so growing up and watching Championship Wrestling from Florida, I'm very, very excited about this project.
So I guess right off the bat, then I should ask what made this the right time to do Championship Wrestling from Florida content and bring stuff like that back to the masses?
I don't know if anything is ever the right time. It's just how it falls into place. You know what I mean? You know, you see an opportunity, you seize it. You know, I think maybe we rushed it or we're jumping on it. I think we should have maybe had a little bit more of our ducks in a row personally. Probably the office guys are probably going, what the hell is he saying on here? But because, you know, when you do everything and you got to, in this day and age, Coastal, CCW runs so many shows. They run like 150 shows. You start getting spread thin and you're not trying to use cross talent. You're not trying to cross talent, but to have a large amount of fly-ins gets very expensive. So it stresses the budget. So I think long-term, it kind of hurts the content of the show, like when you're on a little bit of a limit of who you can bring in and can't bring in and stuff like that. So I would have liked to have stretched it out a little longer and had some more ducks in the row. But is there ever really a right time? You just got to go for it, man. You're either all in or you're all out. That's all I know.
Tell us about the vibe of the show, because the Nilo was mentioning looking for kind of a throwback vibe. Dan Lambert's involved as well, and kind of bringing back sort of the territory days. So what can you tell us about the overall vibe of the show?
Very excited about Kevin being involved, Kevin Sullivan. Kevin is writing the show. It's Kevin. So, and a lot of people ask me, what's going to make this different than CCW? Well, what's going to make a difference? It's Kevin writing it. It's not Nelio or his booking staff writing Coastal Championship Wrestling and stuff like that. So, and what's exciting for me about it is I'm learning from Kevin. I'm learning how he put things together, how he views things and his mindset and wins and whys and all that. So that's a very exciting time for me as just a person that loves professional wrestling and being in it 37 years. I learn every day. So every minute I spend with Kevin, I'm learning. Dan Lambert is amazing. I believe he gets overlooked and stuff. Sometimes his promos, he's just out there speaking the truth and stuff like that. But he is such a historian on Championship Wrestling from Florida. He is so passionate about it. So I think that's going to be very cool to bring him in on that. We need more people with that kind of passion. Running a wrestling training facility, I wish everybody had the knowledge of professional wrestling like Dan Lambert does when they walk in there. I don't care if they're hating on it, they're mad and they're cussing, but they're watching it and they have a knowledge and history of professional wrestling, and that's missing so much nowadays in wrestling. People think I get down on all the big moves and this and this and that. I'm not at all. If you go back and watch my earlier stuff, you'll see me doing silly things like jumping off the top of a pole across the guardrails and stuff, thinking that's what I had to do. But I love all that, but I think you need that history of professional wrestling, and then I wish everybody had the knowledge of all the past and all the wrestlers that play, and that's what Kevin's there, and then with Dan with his fandom, his knowledge from being a fan of it is going to add a lot to it too, and just really looking forward to it. I think that's what's going to be different. It'll be retro. You can't create anything new. The only thing new is what's been forgotten. But I think you can rewind things back and then sprinkle in some of the modern in it and do it. I'm just a little worried, that it's rushed. I'm worried that it's rushed. I really am. They'll kill me for saying that, but that's truly my biggest fear is it's rushed a little bit, because there was no right time to seize it. Things just fell into place right now, and they said, all right, we either go for it now or we don't. And we went for it. So I'm excited. It's like Pandora's box. I don't know what's going to open, what's going to come out of it, how it's going to go. The whole world may crap on it on Monday morning. I don't know. But I know that I'm truly passionate about it. I know Kevin is, and I know Kevin's really worried that his name's on that. And he doesn't want people looking at him going, oh, he's lost it, or he's out of his mind, or what is Kevin thinking, or something like that. Truly, so brilliant. And I'm learning so much from him to carry on, because I believe wrestling goes in cycles as well. And I think it'll go back to some of the storytelling and characters and getting things across, and just learning so much. It's just a learning experience for me. I feel like a guy that just went back to the school again. I have this passion, and it's on for the whole other side of wrestling. It's not the in the ring, but it's just the wins and whys that I didn't know, that I just did naturally. A lot of it I just felt naturally, but I think if I would have had this knowledge as I went into WWF at the time, or the tail end of territories, if I could have had this stuff I'm learning now, it would have been a lot different path. But I'm grateful for everything and the journey. The journey is the jewel, and I love it, and I'm very excited.
So I got a bit of a two-part question, because you're talking about training and we're talking about throwing it back a little bit. My first question is, since you're the head trainer at Coastal Championship Wrestling, what's the first thing that you tell students who come in looking to train under Gangrel?
The first thing is I tell them to leave. Ron, this is not for you. I mean, and I'll ask them constantly, is this a hobby or is this something you want to do? If it's a hobby, tell me it's a hobby, because I'm not gonna waste my time or the class's time. If it's a hobby, I'll train you well enough to get through. But if you're passionate about it and you want to train, I'm gonna come at you 100% and then some to try to get you in the right place, because I truly believe footwork is so important. When I train young ladies and gentlemen, I would spend, if I could, I know it's about faster pace now in this society, generation, everything has to happen like bing, 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 kind of like CWF is. But I would spend 3 weeks on the floor alone with them, just walking through footwork and learning to roll out there on the floor before they ever get into a 16-foot ring. Then I would teach them the moves from headlocks, wing locks, top wrist lock, double leg, single leg, double wrist lock takeover, all these moves that don't involve ropes or anything. And then when they could tell me a story in that 16-foot ring in the center without breaking contact for 20 minutes, I move them into an 18-foot ring. And then I add ropes, tackles, and other things in. So, that first 3 to 5 months I would spend on footwork and bumps and rolls, but it's a lot faster paced now. But I tell them to get out the door when they first come in. I say, get out of here, it's not for you. And but they stay, and I'm very blessed to have students that actually care. I tell them to watch more wrestling. I try to give them a quick, I try to feel them out on their history of wrestling, what they know and how far back they've been watching it. But unfortunately, I could say 90% or 80% of the people that walk through the door haven't watched anything from the 80s or the 90s or even possibly in 2000. It's kind of sad, but hopefully it can turn that around. We do a lot of history. I send them out. Last week's homework was they had to come in and give me matches from 80 to 82. I didn't care where, what era, or what, if it was All Japan Women or if it was Mid-South or Middle-East, whatever, they had to go watch matches. So I try to keep a lot of that history in there, which goes back to the stuff that is really cool that I'm learning from Kevin,
And that kind of brings me to my follow-up is, you're working with a lot of up and coming talent, both in training and also in the ring live in front of fans. What stands out in today's crop versus when you were coming up and you were getting started in wrestling or just making your name?
What do you mean? What stands out? Like,
what stands out of like today's crop of talent? What's different? What's standing out differently?
I blame, this is gonna sound negative, but I blame video games and movies. You know, like, so what stands out is the guy will come in at 150 pounds and thinks he could take out 310 pound, 6'5" guys. You know, so it's more acrobatic. They're more. I always say think, shoot, but work. Right? It's got to be believable. So if you're 5'10" and I'm 6'4", and I want to walk through the door and you're telling me not to go, am I really going to walk around you or am I going to move you? You know, I want them to be believable and think, shoot, but work. You know, and this generation, it's more acrobatic and it's more video game set. So they come in there, you gotta kind of weed through that, but you don't want to crap on that because that's things evolve and that's kind of where it's at. But you want to be able to guide them and then give them enough history, give them enough foundation and understanding to when and where to put these things so they can still do these great, amazing athletic things, but put them in the right places at the right time, not running across the ring like a herd of cattle here running from a UFO to run back over here, you know, just to catch somebody from the top rope, to understand why you're doing that move, when to do that move, and where and how to get there safely with the less foot movements and stuff like that, where everything, you know, I teach them constantly. I say slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You know, it's not a race out there. It's just being in the right place at the right time, having confidence and trusting yourself and trust your gut. Trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right and it feels off, more than likely it is, you know.
So who are some people that you've trained either now, recently, or in the past that stand out to you of like, all right, this guy or girl has it and should probably be on television sooner rather than later?
Jacob Fatu, I trained. But he's doing this thing out there, Jacob Fatu. Rusev Miro, I trained with him. So they're out there. We got guys coming up in the school now here. Personally, in my set right now, in my circle, there'll be one to watch out for called Damian Finrear. Dan Lambert will be working with him. There's a French Creole gentleman from Haiti named Lakai, who's tremendous. If he just gets the right opportunity, the right place to do something. There's Ruthie J. There's Metodi, another Bulgarian. I got another Bulgarian named, they call him Meadow, but his name is Metodi. I don't know if he won't be doing Championship Wrestling Florida, but he's heavily involved in CCW. He's another one coming up. He was like one that first joined. He came in from Bulgaria. He washed dishes. He went to the wrong city. He went to Pensacola. I'm in South Florida. He went to Pensacola. He didn't realize it was like, he just went to Florida. Dude, I'm like 8 hours or 12 hours away from there. So he ended up working little jobs. He got down there. His first month in wrestling, he ended up with blood on his brain from holding his breath. I kept telling him to quit, get out of here. It's not for you. Go back to Bulgaria. You know, save your heartache. But man, if he's not going to be another success story, I truly believe he'll end up on TV sooner than later too. He's going to follow in the footsteps of Miro. Hopefully he stays a little bit more focused in Miro all over the place. But Tony's a great kid. So yeah, there's a few of them coming up. Ruthie J's another girl. She's done some darks. There's a lot of talent coming out of there, and they'll be coming up soon.
I'm a big ECW fan from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
You had some time in ECW, and I don't think many people realize that, including a match you tagged against the Steiner brothers. Can you talk about working with the Steiners? And also, if you've got ECW stories, I will sit here for days and listen.
Well, ECW, I can tell you, this was the first live I walked in and seen them openly snorting cocaine and taking acid before the matches. I was like, what? But I should have known that, being with Luna. Working there, and that was the mindset in that place, insanity. But yeah, ECW was you know, I kind of just fell into it. Me and Luna are at a weird spot in our relationship. We're kind of back, and I think it was more of a rib. I truly feel like they brought me in to rib me or something. I go in there, I work Hack Myers, have a fun match. Not Hack Myers. He passed away. I had a match with him, and then they had me do this match with Dreamer immediately back to back. But it went well. It was one of those all over the place matches. So I thought that would be it. But then they brought me in, say you're gonna work the signers, and I got along great with the signers, so they would go, "Hey, make it look good. I think they want us to rough you up." They would say weird things like that. I go, "What the heck is going on?" So I always got the vibe that I was being ribbed there, but I never was, because like nothing ever happened. So it was just like weird throwaway matches, and eventually I just drifted out of there, and me and Luna separated for a while, and that was it. So I wasn't there very long. I mean, I probably did. I don't know, probably 10, no more than 15 matches there. You know, a lot of it was when I came into Florida, but I think it was just throwing me in there. I say ribbing, but it wasn't ribbing. I don't know what it was. It was just, it was, I loved it. I like that. I love that style. I'm great with that style. There's no thinking to it. You just go out there, feel the crowd, and I say fight, but wrestle, do whatever feels natural and safely, and put it in things. But it was a fun time, and it was a brief and a short time. But I do love ECW. I'm with you. I think there's a time and place for everything, and I think that was the right place and time for that, and it's amazing. I love going back to 2300 Arena. I'll be back there in July. So always a good vibe in there. Nothing but good memories. Even the short, brief time that could look on. If I dug deep into it, I probably could turn it negative in some way. But it was all good times, you know.
You remain active on the independent scene. You recently wrestled Josh Bishop, who we had on the show, and talked about that match. You wrestled Orange Cassidy a couple years ago. Like, what was that match like, sharing the ring with him?
Yeah, Josh has curly hair, a big blonde, like a little.
Yes.
Yeah, he's cool.
He hits hard. Did he hit you hard?
No, he didn't. I think he was working extra light, because I said, if you hit me hard, because Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers told me, hey, he's a big stiffy. So I said, hey, before the thing goes, and I guess Brian was winding him up, so he came in there working extra light. Then he realized probably that I'm the stiff one. I'm in the one pounding on people.
What was it like?
He goes, hello, stiffy.
What was the match with Orange Cassidy like, sharing the ring with him? Because he's on an incredible run right now with AEW.
It was weird because I had a lot of older guys come to me. This is like, he had just signed, but I don't think they've done anything yet. When I had that match, I'd have been on a joint Game Changer show, maybe. I'm not sure. It was somewhere outside.
Yeah, it was BLP. Yeah, it was BLP Game Changer 2 Cups stuff. Yeah. I think it was Mania weekend before AEW like had their first show.
Yeah, and I think we were going to the ring. Like, I looked out there, and all the older guys were calling me up. You're gonna have to kill this kid, you know. Like some of the older guys. I'm not gonna mention their names, but they were shitting on him. Like, hey, he's taking the piss on wrestling, you know, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know, you know, because as they're telling me this, I don't think they stop and think about the characters I've done. I was the Black Heart, so I was the Bastard Son, the Stu Hart with the black mask, and then I wrestled as a vampire. So I'm like. You know, I'm sure those guys, when I was coming in 87, 88, 90, and all that, were going, what is this kid doing? You know, same thing they're probably saying about Orange Cassidy. They're saying about me wrestling with fans. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know. Let me hear it out and get there. So I start watching the show. I look out there. Fella, I don't know, it might have been G-Raver. I don't know who it was. Fell from the ceiling, about ripped his arm off, and was bleeding all over the place. There was blood everywhere, glass. So I come back, and I could tell Orange Cassidy was really nervous to kind of try to explain his character to me, but I knew it already, and I knew that I've been on shows with him before he was doing the Orange Cassidy thing, so I knew he was a hell of a worker. And but he was nervous. He goes, "What do you want to do?" I go, "I want to do exactly the stuff you do, because there's nothing else we could do after everything that's happened out there. There's blood, guts, dives. They've seen everything but comedy, you know." So that was the only approach to go that made sense. And I went out there, and I'm not against trying any new things and stuff like that. And it turned out it worked. It was for that crowd, that building, and it worked for that set. So I think he's a great guy. I talked to him and saying, how long do you think? You know, my biggest concern when I was talking to him after that match, as he's talking about he's going to AEW, how long could he do that character or make that type of character work? How much longevity is in being like the sloth, you know, whatever the deal is, One Cool Summer, whatever that movie, where you just, you know, wearing backpacks and kicking people, you know, how long do you think he could do that before it gets old? And he's doing it a lot longer than I thought he could. He said he was going to hopefully transition out of it, but I don't think he's had to. I think it's still getting over, and people are buying it, and happy for him.
Can you talk to me about Vigo?
Which Vigo? After Dark?
Yeah, let's talk about the After Dark. I saw that you're going to be the star of that movie, and there's a few other wrestlers that are notable in this feature. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so it's a vampire movie, of course. It would only make sense. It'd be my first feature role would be in a B horror movie, vampire. So it's kind of like the Sin Bodhi's in it, Paul London's in it. It's like the Lost Boys meet Interview with a Vampire, basically. So Vigo is a Venture clan, which I wrestled as Gangrel. Gangrel was a clan. There'd be like another clan would be Brujas. So it's not like it's the type of vampire you are. It's kind of like a family name, like Heath is a family name, or whatever your last name would be. So more of a proper like 18th century vampire or something like that with the puffy shirt, because that's why I got put into that spot. And Simbodi, he's opposite as a vampire, but he's a Bruja. He's opening a nightclub. He's trying to mingle with humans and make vampires cool and relevant. And what I much wanted to do in WWE is the vampire character. And I want to keep it dark, secret. You know, I got my group of vampires eating rats, and I'm keeping them, you know, I'm favoring them everything. I'm keeping them in the dark about everything, so to speak. But I'm in the next room killing hookers, prostitutes, and whatever, homeless people. You know, I'm dining on blood, feasting, and this and that. So basically, it's just a struggle of vampires coming up, and an old school vampire trying to keep a rein on some stuff on the old school one, and then it ends up in a big fight scene towards the end. And I don't want to tell you everything, but yeah, so it's basically the Lost Boys meet Interview with a Vampire. It's fun. It's a four bar horror movie shot. Like, I did all my stuff in like less than 4 days, which he was cramming it in there, but my schedule was so crazy. I'm so blessed. I still wrestle Friday, Saturday, Sundays. I'm training Monday through Thursday, and then squeeze the stuff like the movie in and stuff like that. So I'm very blessed, and I love professional wrestling, and I owe it everything. It saved my life, and it's still saving my life, and I'm just grateful. But that movie was something new. It was fun. I've done acting. I've done stuff like Cougar Town, little bits and pieces here and there. But that was cool to do that. I kind of felt like I got the fever for the flavor. But I'm so busy that I didn't chase that that flavor. But I feel like, I would like to try to do another horror movie. I want to call with Tom Devlin. I want to get with him and pitch one I got. Maybe I'll invest my own money in and do my own kind of project with him on something else. But we'll see how that goes. But I did get the fever for it, the fever for the flavor.
One person that a lot of people have asked about, she made her debut last year at AEW Double or Nothing 2022, and you helped train her, Paige Van Zandt. Hasn't been seen since then. Has she been training or anything like that with you?
You haven't seen her, and I haven't seen her. I think she broke her foot or something. So she did that. She did that match, whatever it was. I believe I was there that weekend because I did something with the Young Bucks, I believe, out in Vegas, and for AEW. But came home. She said she was going to come review the match, and then I didn't see her. I haven't seen her, and like a week ago, she wrote me saying she wanted to come back and start training, but I haven't heard back from her. So I said, I'm here. I've been here the whole time. She had a lot of potential. She seemed to like it. She picked it up naturally, but I don't know what happened to her. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a crazy world. They make so much money on these OnlyFans and this now. And I feel like they're going to cash in on all that instead of get out there and grind. I have no idea. I really don't know. But she did write me saying she wanted to come back and train. And I could tell you she had a lot of potential. And I think if she would have trained steady at it, like you do anything in life, that she could have been very successful at it.
You have been at this for so long. You're in your 50s now. You're approaching your mid-50s. There are two other names that you've faced in WCW that are also in that ballpark, and that's Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, both active wrestlers. One, working with them back in those days, what was it like? And B, what's the secret to being so active and still with it in your 50s as a professional wrestler?
Yeah, I'm 54 going on 55, so I'm not sure how old Jericho is, Rey. But Rey, he's amazingly, I don't know how he's doing it, the abuse he takes, because he was a smaller guy and he gets throw it all over the place. Jericho, he always, he works smart, He did big moves, but he did them in the right places at the right time. But the secret to it, what I believe the secret to everything is rust never sleeps, A rolling stone gathers no moss. Like, if you just keep going, when you start changing, I'm going to start cheesing my bumps and lean them a little bit this way. Bumps are longevity. Clean bumps, I teach that in classes. if you bump right, you do all your landings and you roll and you fall, you do all that correctly, you'll be here 38 years later telling somebody else how to do that, because you're going to take care of your body. So clean bumps, not anything reckless. They say you have a bump card. You can only take so many, but I believe if you take clean ones and you take them properly and you were trained properly, you're going to have longevity. It's the ones when you let the other person kind of take you out of your rhythm, where they're picking you up for something. Those are the ones where they go kind of wrong, where they have more power over your control. And that's the ones that hurt you and stuff like that. But I think it's just staying active. I've seen guys say they were retiring or whatever, they're going to stop wrestling. 3 months later, I wouldn't recognize them. You quit trying to stay current. You stop with silly stuff like trying to keep your hair the right color. You start blowing the gym off a day here, a day there. That becomes like a week here, a week there. You start going, what does it matter if I eat Chinese food 3 times a week instead of just one as a cheat meal? Little things like that. And then your body is not active either. You're not on the grind. It's programmed. And it says, hey, this guy's not abusing me. He's not running. I'm going to start healing myself. So little things that have been out for like 30 years are trying to naturally work themselves back in where they belong. And then the pain kicks in, your arthritis kicks in and stuff like that. So I believe if you're active and it's not bothering you, you're able to bump still, bump clean, bump frequently, but smart, and just keep moving, man. Keep moving, because when you stop, it's all going to catch up to you. So, and it'll all end soon enough. You can't cheat time. So just enjoy it right up to the end.
We have a super chat from Demolition Worm. Says, yo, Gangrel, how is Morbius in real life? Are y'all Morbin? I will ask, have you seen this film, Morbius, with Jared Leto?
No, I haven't seen it yet. It keeps popping up, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch a 2-hour movie.
Fair enough. I've not seen it. I've heard things about it. I feel like you maybe should have been contacted about this when it comes to vampires and everything, but maybe the sequel. Hopefully the sequel.
I have to check it out. I won't have any time this weekend, but I will make time. I have so much wrestling on my DVR that I can't even catch up on. I'm glad they're not asking any current wrestling questions. I'd be like, I don't even know, man. I have to listen to your guys' stuff here and there, or somebody else's, just to catch up on the brief stuff, and then we on, is that BS or is that legit? All right, that makes sense to me. I don't have time to even watch all the wrestling shows. I have to cheat and listen to the quick news sites and everything else.
There's a lot out there, a lot of wrestling out there. Just this weekend alone, there's about 13 hours of wrestling this entire weekend.
Guys talking about TNA and this and that earlier. I'm like, man, I have TNA recorded too. I haven't even watched that, and I trained Jay Vidal. He's there. Like, I don't know if you see so I assume he's doing well there. I mean, he's a manager / he's getting some matches, but I need to watch, because he always asks me, "Did you see my stuff, Mijo?" I'm like, no, I didn't see it.
Well, he just did a bunch of stuff to set up he's managing Giselle Shaw, but he was basically representing Giselle in the build up to the match against Trinity that's airing tonight. So yeah. He's definitely getting some spotlight, and that's good news. And this matches, he's doing better. He's doing great.
He's really he's young. If he puts a little bit more size on, I think he could break out of that spot and become a star. He really can. Super.
I have a couple quick hitter questions for you. The first one is, do you prefer Fangin or Bangin?
Prefer them both, 24/7, Fangin and Bangin.
You knew that was the answer, Jeremy. You knew.
I was trying to see if there was a favorite there of the Fangin or the Bangin.
With me, you can't Fangin out Bangin, you can't Bangin, so it's just Fangin and Bangin.
Fair enough. Another one, your Twitter handle is Gangrel13. There is another famous person who has a 13 in their Twitter handle. It is Taylor Swift 13. Do you think she is paying tribute to you with her Twitter handle?
No, I'm not paying tribute to T-Swizzle either, but I do like her. And I just heard that the other day that 13 was her lucky number. And I went, oh, that's so cool.
Well, now I got to ask, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
You're going to kill me, but it's Shake It Off.
Oh, I'm not going to kill you at all. Are you kidding me? That's my karaoke song right there. That's a banger right there. No, that's such an easy headline. Gangrel's favorite Taylor Swift song, Shake It Off. Thank you for the Taylor Swift content. Always love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all I've got. Jeremy, are you good? Are you satisfied?
Yes. Anything else that we need to touch on that we may have missed, Gangrel?
No, everything's good. I thank you for covering that. Championship Wrestling from Florida this weekend. I'm out there. I'd like to say thank you to all the fans personally, because and I do this all the time, because I can't do what I love without them. I can't do what I love without you guys keeping wrestling current and in the homes of everybody too, and in their mindsets and stuff like that. So thank you to everybody, the whole crazy wheel of professional wrestling, the fans, the shows, the news sites, the podcasts. Thank you to everybody for just allowing me to be able to do what I love and keep fanging and banging. You know.
Well, there you go. We got it once again. Kevin Sullivan at the creative helm this weekend. Championship Wrestling from Florida returns. It's going to be taped on May 27th, 28th. That's this Saturday and Sunday if you're watching us live at CCW Arena in Pompano Beach, Florida. Tickets are available at coastalchampionshipwrestlingfl.com. This time I think I got it right, did I?
Tremendous.
Wonderful.
I have no idea. I don't even know.
It's fine.
And share, retweet and share. I don't handle any of that stuff.
Totally fine.
As I go, oh man, it's a day before the show. So I went on there. You'll see I had like a lot of quick shares all of a sudden. I'm like, I better share this. That's my part in this stuff here.
Gangrel, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the conversation.
All right, guys. Have a tremendous weekend.
Thank you. You too. Good luck with everything this weekend, Gangrel. Oh, man. That was great. That was so good. So excited to have someone like him join the show. Again, when we started doing the show, I didn't know what to expect. Didn't think we would get to talk to someone like Gangrel, who's still involved in the wrestling business, still doing great things in the wrestling business, still active on the independent scene. And, you know, now he's active with Coastal Championship Wrestling and Championship Wrestling from Florida. And that was really fun. That was fun. Yeah. When you presented the option, I was just like, oh man, we got to talk to Gangrel. We do. And I was thinking like, oh, but it's Friday and there's all these shows coming up, but also like, what breaks up the monotony better than talking with a guy who's been literally everywhere you can think of and has trained at least one wrestler who has been in every major promotion at this point. And that was great. He's wonderful. I mean, his career is so long and so storied as well. Like, we had a limited amount of time with him, do like a 2-hour show with Gangrel and all the stories that, you know, I'm sure people want to hear and everything. But the big thing, I think the biggest takeaway out of that interview, Joel Pearl, Shake It Off, favorite Taylor Swift song from Gangrel. That is the big news out of that interview. Not working with Orange Cassidy, who is, you know, one of the top stars in AEW and the AEW International Champion. Not pay an update on Paige Van Zandt. Okay, cool. Not Coastal Championship Wrestling. None of that. That's all news. That's all great. Shake It Off. Gangrel's favorite Taylor Swift song. Biggest news out of that interview. Go ahead and aggregate that, everybody.
I love that you get giddy for Taylor Swift wrestler crossover news the way I get giddy for like ECW stories.
You know, actually, the wife messaged me before the show, and she's like, that was her question. She said, ask Gangrel if he thinks Taylor Swift chooses her Twitter handle, Taylor Swift 13, in homage to him. And I was like, I will ask him that last. So that was her question, because she knows me, and she knows I will pop for something like that. So that was a request by her. And of course, I'm going to ask it. It's a Taylor Swift question.
Oh, Louis had the right answer. Would have guessed bad blood. 2 on the nose.
The fact that it's Shake It Off, though. What a song that is.
That makes sense, though, because the way that he operates, he is like 100 miles an hour all the time. You want to talk quarter mile at a time. This dude is going. You heard it. Like, he's been up since 5, running his brain. So good, though. So wild that he's been doing this at this level for so long.
He's a vampire. Of course he doesn't sleep. Of course he doesn't sleep, Joel.
I thought he sleeps during the day and he parties all night. That's the way it's supposed to go.
Is that how vampires work?
I think so.
Fair enough. I've never.
He may have spoken more in this interview than he did for his entire WWF run. And I say that with like the utmost respect, because when he was a vampire, they like kept him quiet most of the time, let Edge and Christian do the talking. So this was great. He's the man. If he decides one day to write a tell-all book, will have stories for pages and pages.
100%. Or when he does, the 5-hour shoot interviews. I don't know if those are a thing anymore. It certainly used to be. Now everybody just does like interviews and bits and pieces. So that's how it's all done. Yeah, a lot of stories. Again, we could have gone much longer with him. We could have made our whole show with Gangrel, but there's a lot going on this weekend, Joel. That's what I've been told.
Yes. So just to give y'all a bit of an idea of what this weekend looks like, Friday night, that's tonight, is Impact Under Siege. Tomorrow is WWE Afternoon of Champions. The show airs around noon, I believe, 1 or noon, or either way. It starts at noon. There's a kickoff, yada, yada. Go watch the show. NXT Battleground runs at the exact same time as AEW Double or Nothing on Sunday, and we're going to be doing a ton of content around that. Not Jeremy and I specifically, but the Fightful crew. There will be plenty to talk about. There are so many podcasts, shows that are doing some sort of preview content. Honestly, I don't think we need to sit here and talk about every single match, but we can at least get to the ones that we like and the ones that we think have some sort of longer term story time and storyline potential. What do you think?
I would like to go match by match and give predictions and tell you exactly who is going to win and how and what it all means, Joel. There's a lot of matches. I feel we should also predict the star ratings on all of these matches as well. That's how I feel we should format this. All right. So match number 1, Joe Hendry versus Dirty Dango for the Impact Digital Media Championship. Dirty Dango debuting a new character, a new gimmick. He is basically the grizzled veteran who thinks that wrestlers today are too reliant on social media and not on doing the moves. But I think he's kind of turning it on its head a little bit. I kind of like it. Joe Hendry versus Dango. What do you think? I think Dirty Dango is going to win. This is for the Digital Media Championship, one of the most prestigious championships in all of wrestling. And I think Dirty Dango, he's going to win it, and then he's going to trash it, and he's going to turn it into the Guns and Knives title, because we ain't worried about digital media, old school guys like Dirty Dango. We're all about the guns and knives. So who's going to win? By the way, the irony of Dirty Dango holding the Digital Media Championship, given this new character, is not lost on me. Yeah, that's why he's going to make it the Guns and Knives title, Joel. Why would they make it? Why not the Guns and Roses title? Really just rip everything off. No. No? Okay. Can we get SP3 back on here to sing? That was awful. It was great when he sang. I'm not here to do well with the singing right now. Do you have a star rating for this match? 4.25, I'm assuming. I know your bits. This will be, I don't know if it's going to get that much time, so I'm sure it'll be a solid 2.25 star match. This is on the Countdown show, by the way, as is the Coven defending their Knockouts Tag Team Championships against the Death Dolls. Courtney Rush came back to Impact Wrestling last night. No longer Rosemary. Rosemary has been left aside in the dark realm as Courtney Rush makes her debut, or her return to Impact Wrestling, as it were. Courtney Rush and Jessica now make up the Death Dolls. This is a match. It's not being listed right now for the KO tag titles, but I feel like it will be. Either way, Coven versus Death Dolls. Who you got? I thought it was for the Knockouts. So did I. No, it's listed on our site as for the Knockouts tag titles. Did we jump the gun on saying I'm on Wikipedia, so odds are it's not. Whatever. We're gonna Wikipedia thought that that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, thought that QT Marshall and Powerhouse Hobbs were in the casino, or the Blackjack Battle Royal. Sorry. I thought it was they were in the Blackjack Battle Royal, and that's the match. It's not. It's not for the KO tag titles. I'm on the Impact. It's not? No, it's not. Oh, I'm on the Impact website right now. It is not. Well,
tag titles.
Oh,
Whoopsies.
got that wrong then.
Anyway, listen, we're not actually going to go and do the star ratings and all the predictions and all the shows. Is there anything on Under Siege that you're like very much looking forward to? I know it's there is a lot going on this weekend, but I think some matches do deserve a little bit of shine given that it's a big weekend.
When it comes to Impact Under Siege, I think Deanna and Jordan, one, I imagine that headlines. Two, I imagine that is one of, if not the best match on the show. There's a lot of good matches on the show, though. Like Trey and Chris Sabin should be great. The tag team title match should be great. Even the 6-man scramble should be pretty good. Very interested in Trinity in her first like live match. Because the match with Kylan was taped, and I don't think they edited it too much or anything like that, but it was a taped match. Now we're going to get to see the live Trinity experience against Giselle Shaw. And then Macklin and PCO will be fun because PCO will go out there and bump around and do some crazy stuff, and Macklin will keep up with them. So it's a good show on paper overall. I don't know how much, like when it comes to like title changes and things like that, we're going to see. Do you see any type of like major title change news coming out of this, or any debut, or what are your overall like headline expectations for this?
So normally when they do the Impact Plus shows, one title changes hands. That's kind of been the going rate lately. I don't know if that's the plan here because you're dealing with a lot of newer champions. Hello, Eggman.
I'll tell you a title that's going to change hands soon.
Is
the Fightful Championship is going to change hands soon.
You know, it normally changes hands when you use the right microphone too.
No, I'm still okay. Hold on.
I was still on my press conference mic because I intentionally hooked up the wrong mic to do your all's press conference.
Yes.
Add to the bit. But first off,
thank you. I'm glad we could do that. Are they scrambled today?
They are scrambled today. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I was paying like $25 for one of those omelets to get delivered, so not anymore.
Not decided to make your own eggs.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
My wife made them last night.
Oh.
Last night you're having reheated
night?
eggs.
Yeah, reheated eggs.
Oh my goodness, that's
Scrambled reheats well.
Fair. I
yeah,
can't.
Okay. Yeah.
Why are you going to doubt my expertise here?
Ugh. Anyway.
That is both serious and a joke, just because the pun was there. But it's very clear I probably eat more eggs than you guys.
Yes. However.
Yeah. But why'd you even pause?
No.
Why'd you pause? When's the last time you had eggs 3 times in a week? Much less 3 times on this show in a week.
I thought you were going to say 3 times in a day.
I'd be like, check your cholesterol, buddy.
Not doing that. But
I was about to say, yeah, I was going to say I had eggs yesterday. I had eggs and rice. It was delicious.
yeah.
You get some fried rice, put some eggs over top. Oh yeah,
That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's
when I went to New York. When I went to New York, I was hanging out with Destiny FOMO and Demon Diva, and they're like, "Oh, what do you want?" And I was like, "Honestly, I just want some chicken fried rice from like a food truck or something." And I don't know anything about where I got it from, but apparently it's like one of the most notorious places to get it from. But their chicken fried rice was really good. That's all I wanted, man.
When I was,
did you make that shot?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I've taught myself how to shoot left-handed.
Nice.
Well, there we go.
You didn't say like Kobe or anything, so I wasn't sure if you were like aiming
No,
for a basket or if you're just like
RIP.
tossing it to the side.
But I got a warm 7-Up that's 7-Up Zero that's half empty. Let's see if I make that too. Guess what? I did, and I knocked over the trash can while I did it too.
I was gonna say that doesn't sound like you made it.
Had some weight to it.
Yeah, it did. Weighing those balls out. Oh God, why am I doing this?
We got
What?
Scott saying he loves seeing Subculture come to Impact. Well, I won't ask you to stop watching this show, but at 11 a.m. I'm dropping the interview with Flash Morgan Webster. He hasn't done a ton of interviews since he left WWE, but for those of you that subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, you saw that we were on top of his contract situation and his injury situation. He had passed up a couple deals before he was released. There's an awful lot to that story. Joel, I know you cover Impact, but Subculture versus ACB is one of my most anticipated matches this weekend.
Yes, it was one of the matches that almost sent me to go to London to watch the show live. I'm not doing that anymore because
Coward.
Wow.
plenty of
Ain't
reasons.
got no heart.
Y'all want to pay for my my bus fare and then the hotel for tonight?
No, walk there like a man.
Okay, fine.
I'm going to start talking about you like the 60-year-old men on Facebook talk about college baseball players and basketball players. You ain't got no heart. You're in it just for the money now.
I mean,
You don't. Back when I did it, which was never. We did it for the love of the game.
Mentally weak. They love to throw out the mentally weak.
Yes.
Mentally weak, yeah.
I'm looking forward to the match. I am still wondering what happened when Subculture figured out that the match was happening in London, Ontario, Canada, and not London in the UK. Someone must have called them and been like, "Hey, you want to work this great match? It's Impact, and it's going to be in London." And they're like, "Oh, absolutely!" And then they got their flight details, and they're just like, "Wait, what?" I have a feeling
you can find that out at youtube.com/Fightful because I've got like a 40-minute interview dropping with him at 11 a.m.
Big fan.
Sean, did you listen to our interview with Gangrel? I have some select news that you can monetize if you would like.
Not yet. I haven't. I just got to my PC.
We got an update on Paige Van Zant. If you would like to know what Gangrel said. Gangrel said that, yes, have you seen Paige Van Zant? He said, well, that was the last time you saw her last year, Double or Nothing. Last time I saw her as well. Did say that she wrote him about a week ago saying, hey, want to come back? Want to try this again? And then has not showed up yet. So we had a little bit of an update on Paige Van Zant.
Yeah, when I would ask, I was told that she was not probably ready in the ring then and would need some more seasoning. And that was by the person who set up that interview. So,
well, I have also the biggest news to come out of our interview, Sean, is Gangrel's favorite Taylor Swift song. And it is Shake It Off. If you would like to go ahead and monetize that. So all the websites.
Yeah, it's a You article.
Oh, I'm writing it.
It's a You article. Shout out to the time there were Gangrel death rumors. And I had to text Gangrel, who, I'm not sure even really knows who I am, but he's probably, we've run into each other. We've interviewed each other, all that. And I was like, hey, listen, man, sorry to approach you like this, but there are rumors you're dead. And he just he's like, not that I know of, smiley face. It's like, okay.
How do you reply to that? Like you're like, you can be like, wait, what? Or you could be like, only on the inside.
Yeah. He and Bob Holly, I have mentioned before, are habitual emoji senders. They both, it's very weird to see like Bob Holly, who doesn't use the internet anymore, send like little winky faces and thumbs ups. And it's like, oh, okay.
They're both largely offline people. You've heard the Bob Holly story, how he'll like put his phone face down and go for like a 3-day hike, and then people get in touch with him thinking he's dead. It's the same thing. So really, I would understand why he's still stuck in that sending emojis only zone.
He was on Twitter for a while, but now he's just, I don't know whatever happened to Bob Holly.
Honestly, the smartest thing he could have done was leave Twitter. That's what the smartest thing most people could do is.
Yep. I have said this on numerous occasions. One day, I will go full Cody Rhodes AEW and become Fightful Community Outreach, and that will be it. And then all of Jeremy's charity work will be on that page,
along with his money.
This whole channel is charity work from Jeremy at this point.
You're telling me.
Cyclops better than Logan says, cheer back when men were men and they play the game the right way. Exactly.
I need a when shirts were men shirt.
We need an in the weeds shirt. Nobody will wear it, but
we need a lot of them.
We need a proper logo for in the weeds. I was talking to Berto about that. We still haven't figured one out.
I'm really considering. I really need to. I won't post it on Twitter because you'll get hit with bots even more than usual. But we do need like an outside the box graphic designer. I'm trying to get somebody that can draw up some very intimidating looking camels. That's important to me.
Have you heard of this thing called AI, Sean? Have you tried that?
That's a good point. It's a good point. Maybe I'll just use Fiverr or something and
talk to Mel. Just talk to Mel Coleman. Everyone tells you to talk to Mel.
She wasn't open to commissions.
She's open to work if you pay her.
Well,
like most, we're open to work when we get paid.
True. All right, goodbye, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye, Sean. Can I have this weekend off? No.
He's gone. He's not even just sitting in the back gone. He's like, bye. He's gone.
He just immediately leaves. I appreciate that. I respect that.
I do. Yeah. So where were we? We were talking about Under Siege. I kind of agree with you that Deonna and Jordan could be the main event match, the last match of the night. If it is, then Trinity's going to be involved. She's going to be like involved somehow in the finish, or at least somehow like, because they're trying to set up that triple threat or one-on-one match at Slammiversary. So something's got to happen there if you're going to main event with those two. Or
why can't
Jordan Grace turning heel? Like those are the only options.
It could be Jordan turning heel. Why can't Trinity just like come out after the match and get in the face of the winner type of thing?
My general feeling is that Trinity and Giselle does have a winner, and it's probably Trinity, but that we get the feud extends. I feel like Tasha Steelz is going to even out the odds with Trinity and then renew the feud with Savannah Evans and Giselle Shaw. They're taping Trinity versus Savannah Evans on Saturday as part of the TV tapings. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Tasha Steelz get involved with all of that and maybe set up a tag match at Against All Odds in June, because Slammiversary is still all the way in July. There's a lot of TV. There's a lot of shows coming up to get there. But we all know that like Slammiversary at least is going to involve Trinity in that Knockouts Championship match. Like it feels like it has to, unless you're going to do it all the way. Bound for Glory is very far away. It doesn't make sense to run that late.
Here's what I'm thinking, Joel. We got a 6-way scramble for the number one contender for the Impact World title, right? John Gresham wins that match.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep, I'm with you.
Jordan defeats Deonna because otherwise she can't challenge for the title again. Isn't that the stipulation for this match? This is Jordan Grace's last shot.
Yeah, if Grace loses, she cannot challenge as long as Deonna's champion.
Yeah, so Jordan wins, so that way they can set up a third, at least in this little mini trilogy here. Macklin, of course, beats PCO. We get the tie-in with Gresham and Jordan, Deonna and Macklin, and we do what they call it a double jeopardy, a winner take all. We do that at Against All Odds. That'll keep Trinity out of the title picture for another month. It'll keep all this, because I think all this is the Slammiversary match for Macklin. I don't think Gresham's going to win the title. So they do the winner take all tag team match at Against All Odds. Macklin and Purrazzo win, so Purrazzo gets the Knockouts title back. And then we head into Slammiversary with Deonna against Trinity and Macklin against all of this. That's my call.
So here's the big fatal flaw with that idea. You're not going to turn Deonna after you've already turned her face. You're not going to turn Macklin after he's been so firmly implanted as a heel.
Well, can they coexist? Married couples fight.
I don't think we can do that in this case. It just feels it feels like you're forcing them together just because they're married. Like you're forcing an off-screen chemistry to work on screen, which also doesn't always work. That's a whole other can of worms that they would have to investigate. But I feel like Grace and Gresham being heels who are just complete dickheads going after titles, that's fine. I think Gresham wins. I think we go to Against All Odds. Gresham loses to Macklin, and then that just completely makes Gresham lose it because he has not been successful in Impact Wrestling. And also Macklin said it himself, like he wants another match with Gresham after that Pure Rules Championship match. Had a lot of respect for him. Doesn't necessarily mean that creative is like, oh, we got to do it. But the match itself would be another really, really good match for Macklin to have, to prove, as Scott D'Amore said last night, iron sharpens iron. You go for the best of the best. You need to prove that you're the best to be a good champion. That's one way to do it, is by beating one of the best, and that's Jonathan Gresham. Because everyone else in the field, Shelley is my other guy. He's my dark horse. Edwards and Kazarian are going to start a feud soon. They're going to do a thing. Moose and Myers are still trying to figure out whatever they're doing with the tag titles. And then Yuya, I'm still waiting for Yuya to either finish Excursion or move on to whatever's next for him, because he he's got a lot of potential, but they're still trying to figure out his program and Impact.
Well, do you think Yuya maybe wins and then he gets the shot at Against All Odds? Because it's an Impact Plus pay-per-view, so it's not like one of their big tentpole events. They're doing PCO on this one. No offense to PCO, but they're doing PCO here. You can run a Macklin Yuya match. You got to have something else for Against All Odds, but you can run a Macklin Yuya match.
But PCO and Yuya are two very different stars. PCO's been around for a long time, especially he's been in Impact for a long time, but he's also been a wrestling star for a long time. So there is a name value there. Plus they're in Canada. So clearly that's part of the thing, because the Scott D'Amore story was that Steve Macklin hates Canada. So he's putting Canadians up against Steve Macklin while they're in Canada. Yuya is just kind of there. I'm waiting for Yuya to have some star-making performance out of the ring. Some promo, some development to his character, something that's more than just I'm a young lion on excursion. Because unfortunately, he is the only young lion that I'm seeing out there that's like still trying to figure it out and still trying to put it together, whatever that is outside of I'm a young lion or I was a young lion.
I guess we'll see. Look, if it's Gresham and Macklin at Against All Odds, I'll be there for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, that feels to me something. Yeah, that feels like something you would watch.
Yeah, that's right up my alley. And maybe I'll continue to plot with Steve Macklin to get you beat up next time you two run into each other. And get Jonathan Gresham in on that. I've interviewed Gresham before. He seemed to like me well enough. Maybe he can beat you up too. Who do you think would tie you in a better pretzel, Steve Macklin or Jonathan Gresham?
Gresham, of course. I have a foot on Gresham, but he could still chop me down. No shade. These are facts. I am much taller than Jonathan Gresham, but he can chop my ass down easily and probably tie me up in a pretzel. Do not get me wrong.
Steve Macklin broke Mark Long's ribs in a match. Like I would like to see, like, let's book that. Who beats up Joel Pearl more? Who gives Joel Pearl more broken bones in 2 minutes? John Gresham or Steve Macklin? This is what we're going to set up, Joel.
I mean, this is my 800th day as Fightful champion. So clearly nobody's breaking anything other than me breaking records.
Do you have the title?
No, Jimmy won't give it to me.
What kind of fraud champion are you? Is you don't have...
It really bothers me. And I did a show with Jimmy yesterday, and I should have been like, Jimmy, can I have the title, please? And Jimmy would be like, no, it's in my house. I'm like, no.
Should I invite Jimmy Van on this show? I don't think he likes me, so...
I don't know where he'd do the show from. I don't know what he's up to today, but I don't keep his schedule or anything.
He could just come on and, be on the phone or be on his phone. I'm sure he's got good Wi-Fi. Gangrel did the show from his phone.
Did he? I thought it was on an iPad, but I don't know any better.
Oh, maybe.
I'm
going to send this link to Jimmy Van.
No.
Jimmy is going. Yeah.
This is such a bad idea.
Yeah, well, the show was a bad idea. And yet here we are, like 2 months in, and we're interviewing Gangrel. Jimmy
is going to be so confused.
Hey, Jimmy. Join in the weeds with Joel and I, please.
At least he knows about the show.
We have a question. He's probably gonna be like, "Are you gonna ask for another raise?"
It's true. He's probably gonna be like, "I'm in a meeting. Go away."
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right, I sent it to him. We'll see what happens.
Ryan Lambert asking if my wife gets in on the beatdown. Yeah, probably. Let's face it.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Elsewhere on the card, who do you think the special sixth member is for the Rich Swann, Callahan, and TBA versus the Design? Who is the third man, brother? Who's going to team with Sami Callahan and Rich Swann?
I don't have a great pick here. I'm trying to think of who's like Ohio that they could bring in. I know they're in Canada, but Callahan, Swann, the Ohio tie and everything. So I'm trying to think of like, they bring in someone from like Circle 6 or Wrestling Revolver. Sammy's got friends in wrestling. Who's your prediction? I feel like you should have more insight on this than me.
The only two people I have is like Jake Christ because of OVE.
Yeah.
and Jake has come back to Impact since. He did an X Division championship match against Josh Alexander when he was doing the open challenges. The other person was Bhupinder Gujjar. And then Gujjar either joins the design or turns heel in the process. Because Gujjar, they're not slow burning a heel turn, but I keep saying it. I saw him work heel at Greektown, and now I need it. I need that Bhupinder Gujjar bad guy. Make him a member of the design. Make him shave his head. Do the whole thing.
You could be right. I don't have, again, I apologize. I don't have a great prediction for this one because I'm not sure. What about Champagne Singh? What's he do? I know he's tied in with Macklin, but maybe he just shows up and he's doing a lot of media for them. I just see his name everywhere. I'm just like, why not him?
I don't think people understand how active Raj Singh is, not only in Canadian Indies, but just like as a wrestler with tons of time, tons of years under his belt. He was doing the thing with Macklin. They ran the promo and the segment last night where Macklin says, I beat up PCO so bad that I killed him, and now I got to name a replacement. Here's my replacement. It's Champagne Singh, who low-key, by the way, has a banger of a theme, which like you never hear it because he's always either on BTI or he's, shows up on the show and they're just coming back from break and he's already in the ring. You never hear the theme. So this time we got it. He pulled out the Jericho Man of 1,004 holds, but it was Man of 1,004 thank yous. So he pulls out the list and they roll it out and he's like, number 1, my grandfather, Gama Singh. And then Scott D'Amore came out and they basically did a whole thing where it led to PCO being there and doing a little beatdown going into Under Siege tonight. So Singh is everywhere, but also nowhere. He's really good, but they're not going to make him champion. They're not going to do anything big with him. The character he's playing right now is just perfect for him. I love it. Red bottom shoes. Like that is enough to make me love your character, that you're a rich guy, struck it rich in Vegas. So you're getting red bottom wrestling boots. Come on.
I just noticed he's been doing a lot of media and he didn't have a match. So
yeah, Denise did an interview with him.
Yeah. So maybe he's the third guy with Callahan and Rich Swann. Why not? Right? Why not? What about Masha? Or Masha's on the other side. Dreamer, Tommy Dreamer.
I think they're gonna wait until Dreamer's situation at home is passed with his mother's health. That's out there. I'm not breaking the fourth wall. He put it out there on TV, no less. I think they're gonna wait until he is comfortable or whatever happens with his mom happens and he can come back to work. And also, honestly, I think it's better that Dreamer stays off TV for a while. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Give him time to build that love with the audience back. So when he does come back, it's a bigger deal. Masha and Killer Kelly are continuing their feud. So that's going to be fun. Masha choked out Killer Kelly last night in the kitchen with an electrical cord. So this is just like Clue. The only thing that was missing was I really wanted Killer Kelly to have a big smile on her face as she was being choked out, because they have been leaning into kinky Killer Kelly way more than I thought they would. But they didn't do that last night. That was the one thing missing.
I don't think you can get away with that.
You'd be surprised what they'll get away with on that show. I'm waiting. They're going to do a red-headed triple threat, and it's going to be Masha and Killer Kelly, and Jody Threat's going to get involved. And when they do that triple threat, it is going to be banana. They are going to beat the tar out of each other, and I'm so excited.
I don't think you can get away with that. What if it's Stu Grayson? He's the third guy.
Why?
Well, because Alan Angels is on the other side, and it's in Canada, and AEW. I don't think he's going to be a double or nothing. So AEW's like, here you go. You can have Stu Grayson for this show.
No, he will be a double or nothing. He will be in the unseen 7th hour of the tapings when they do a Ring of Honor show. Listen, man, 19 matches going into a busy weekend. I don't know. Someone's got to talk to Will Washington about this.
Good luck.
Not me. Sabin and Miguel, very quickly, we'll touch on that because you did bring it up. This is a match I'm looking forward to. I think it's going to be a really hot match, really fun. Sabin going for his 9th X Division championship. He has been in this business. He's been with Impact as long as Impact's been around. He is a number 1 day 1 OG. And then Trey Miguel with this character that he's playing now, where he's underappreciated. He's a bad guy. This character is working for him. He's a piece of shit, and I want to see him lose, but I don't think he will. Where are you at on this match?
I think Trey will win.
Yeah, that's fair. You have a star rating for it?
5 stars.
5 stars. Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
Sabin and Speedball had a match last night that was really good.
You don't know my scale. 5 stars could just be, average. It could be a 100-star scale.
It could be a 10-star scale. A 10-star scale. Easy for me to say.
Yeah. So 5 stars.
But what if it's a 2-star? What if it's a 2-star scale?
Can you speak?
I'm running on 5 hours of sleep. I feel like the answer should be known to everybody. I could never do a morning show properly, could I? Let's shift to Saturday. Let's talk about Night of Champions, Afternoon of Champions, as it were. SmackDown tonight is taped, so whatever is out there is already out there. I'm looking forward to Seth Rollins and AJ Styles in that tournament final for the World Championship. Is this your main event, Jeremy Lamberts?
I think Cody and Brock is going to headline this show. Honestly, I think Seth and AJ might open. I think Cody and Brock or Roman's going to headline because it's Roman, and I'm selling myself on Roman and Solo winning these belts. And Roman loves the headline. They get the big pyro. He holds up all the titles at the end of the show, and hooray, Roman Reigns. So I could see that. If Sammy and Kevin are going to headline, I think they can do the cool moment of look how progressive we are with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens headlining the show and standing tall at the end type of thing. So, all right, you know what? It's not going to be Cody and Brock. It's going to be the tag title match is headlining. Roman ain't going out early. Roman's going on last.
I mean, Roman could go out first for all we know.
Roman's going on last.
What did they put him on second?
Nah, he's going on last.
So, yeah, they're running this triple main event, and I think it's smart that they've at least gotten us to wonder what's going to be last, because we do know that really the last match is the main event. There is no triple main event. You can call it like a triple marquee card, whatever you want to call it, but it's
why are people so mad that they call it a triple main event? Who cares?
I don't think so. I'm not going to tell you I'm mad about it. I could just say that, like, I think calling it a triple main event undercuts the value of the event. It undercuts other matches on the card, because the matches, there's 7 matches, 3 out of 7 matches, almost half of the card are main event matches.
You know what they should do? They should call it a second WrestleMania.
They did that once. It didn't really go over so well.
I know. It's all market, like stupendous. It's all marketing stuff. People get mad over this stuff like it actually matters. It's a triple main event. UFC, they call co-main events all the time. There's only one main event. The match that goes on last, that is going to be technically the main event. If they want to hype other matches as a triple main event, why are we getting mad over hype? It's all hype. It's all promoter speak. It's dumb to get mad over this.
Have you considered that maybe people are mad because they like being mad? ROH last night was a 19 main event card.
Yeah, everybody likes to be mad. You got to just stop. There are more important things to be mad about than, I can't believe WWE is going to call this a triple main event. We all know that there's only one main event, and it's the match that goes on last. Stupid.
Hey, remember when we used to have a guy on the channel called Lambs who would do a thing? You sounded a lot like him in that. Whatever you did there, that sounded a lot like him. Oh my God. Are you Lambs?
Hello, everybody. It is I, the Lambs.
Viewership.
How are you, Joel?
Tired, Lambs. I'm tired.
That's an L5, Joel. Very, very tired.
All right,
this is L1, everybody. This is L1. Roman Reigns, he
Does Becky Lynch beat Trish Stratus?
Joel,
Yeah.
what happened?
Oh, there was a guy who came in, tanked our ratings, and now you're back and we're back to normal.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I'll say. Anyway, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus are having the first match of their presumed multi-match story. Where do we go with this? Does Trish Stratus cheat to win? Beat Becky Lynch in Saudi Arabia? Absolutely. Does she win with a key lock into the pin?
Nah, she has like her feet on the ropes or something, right? Like that's how she wins. Yeah, Trish cheats. They advance the story, continue, keep it going, move on to. If they're stretching this thing to SummerSlam, I imagine like Trish is just gonna like take time off for a little bit, and then Becky's gonna have to fight other people.
No, I feel like Becky's gonna join Money in the Bank, and then they're going to have Trish cost Becky Money in the Bank at the end of the match, and that's how they'll do the SummerSlam match. Again, I ask, where the hell is Lita?
She got hurt really bad in that attack, man. Really bad. That really hurt. You know, Trish took her out. Trish throws them shots, baby. A lot of receipts on those shots because all those years, her and Lita up and down the road, and then Lita picking Becky as her partner. Trish wasn't happy about that. Took her out for a long time.
It's like a damn CVS receipt. It's so long. Anyway, topical. Canadian gets topical on U.S. television program. That works doubly because Trish is also Canadian. And anyway, I don't know where Lita is. I thought this was going to be Lita versus Trish at Saudi. I think that would have made the Saudis very happy too for the nostalgia pop, but they'll still get Trish, and I'm sure it'll be a fine story match with Becky. But yeah, Trish winning makes sense. We're going to go to SummerSlam. I do think Becky's going to find herself a Money in the Bank and then get screwed out of it. But if you do that, and if Cody Rhodes is going to be a part of Money in the Bank and Brock screws Cody out of Money in the Bank, can't really do that either. You got to find a way to tell different stories.
Why? There's just a lot of screwing going on, Joel. Why are you so against all of this screwing in England?
Because nobody is paying us a sponsorship deal to say the screwing is caused by a blue pill. So let's move on.
Not yet.
Not
yet.
How badly is Gunther going to beat Mustafa Ali, and why are we sad about this?
I'm not. I love Gunther just beating up on people. I like Ali. Do I think they could do a lot more with Ali? Yes. I think the positive Ali stuff has been fun. He goes for these characters, bless him. And he said that in interviews. He's like, whatever they give me, I'm going to try my best with it. And I'm going to make the most out of it. And he does. He does. They don't always give him the best stuff. They don't always follow through with everything. And it might not always last long for him. There's a lot of screwing. So that might happen with Ali, but he does his best with all of this. Bless him for that. But they see him where they see him, right? And it's been painfully obvious where they see him. And if you thought they saw him in a different way, Brock Lesnar was there to remind you on Monday how they see him. And Gunther is gonna beat him up, and we're all gonna have a good time with it because we all love Gunther.
It's gonna be a very awkward match, but not as awkward as Cody and Brock. I still think that is going to be the Brock beats up Cody so bad, and it's such a one-sided affair that it feels like, again, Cena and Brock at SummerSlam 2015. We're basically retelling every Cena story we can with Cody, and this is another one. This is Cody's first big loss. It's going to happen, and Brock's going to be absolutely bonkers with it. That's my feeling.
I hope Brock beats him in 5 seconds. I hope he breaks all his legs. Just go through the adversity. No,
they'll do the Rocky thing. I didn't hear no Val, but Rocky loses. That's the thing. He's just going to get beat up because he keeps getting up and being so stupid and stubborn that Cody is just beaten down so bad that I don't think they'll do a stretcher job, but they'll definitely do a Cody gets carried out job.
They should do a stretcher job, and then the pyro goes off as Cody is being stretchered out.
As Kingdom is playing in the background.
Yeah.
He's being stretchered out and people going, whoa!
You know what we haven't had? Maybe we have, and I just don't remember it. haven't had a good like stretcher job where the guy comes back and attacks them as they're being taken out on the stretcher. When was the last time we had that? We need it. He's taken out on the stretcher and then Brock comes out. I remember he got like heat for this when it like F5'd Ray, who was still on the stretcher, like into the ring post. Or he got some like heat for that and everything. We need that again. We need Brock destroying stuff is like all-time great television. Because you never know if he's supposed to or not. You know, when he had the steps and he's slamming them on the announce table and people are like, wasn't supposed to do that. Corey Graves is freaking out and everything. I think Sean reported of like, yeah, he kind of went overboard. He tossed the referee over the barricade and everything. We need Brock just destroying things because there's a real feel to that's missing in wrestling a lot of times. Certainly in WWE, where so much is just manufactured and well laid out and well manicured. In there, like Brock just going unhinged mode, that gives you that feel that sometimes you just miss. So we need the stretcher job with Cody, and then he's being wheeled out, and then Brock just like tips him off the ramp, F5s him off of the stage, everything. That's what we need. That's what I'm calling for on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, you get Brock Lesnar, you get Braun Strowman, you get Otis, and you get Odyssey Jones. You put 4 cars. This is a giant stage that they're going to have at this show. You get 4 cars and you set them up one after the other. And then you give these 4 men like the entire show, as much as you want, to rip that car apart. And the winner gets Cody at the end of the night.
It's like Street Fighter where you got to beat up the car in the bonus stage. Is that what we're going for here?
Yes, that's what we're doing. We're beating up the car, but you cannot throw the car door into the audience and almost strike a child. Brock Lesnar, be better than that.
Why not?
Why not? That child paid for a ticket. They were part of the show.
It's on the ticket that stuff might happen. Stuff might fall into the crowd. Apologies. You can't sue us.
That's true. It's all part of a blanket statement to keep you from suing.
Nobody reads that stuff. So
Rollins, he's not Captain America, but Mr. going to be in a Captain America movie versus AJ Styles. Is it going to be Seth Rollins as the World Heavyweight Champion? Is that where we're going? Or is there a world in which AJ Styles winning actually makes sense and you can do it?
I think AJ makes sense because it's a Raw title. So if AJ wins, he just goes to Raw. It doesn't go over on SmackDown. So you can have AJ winning and then go into Raw. Again, I think if I'm SmackDown, I'm like, well, you got to give me something in return here. Otherwise, we just lost somebody for nothing. I think it makes sense in that regard, but it feels like it's Seth's. It felt like it was Seth from the very start, and now this is their moment to crown him. The thing with WWE is, especially recently, it feels like they are just overthinking a lot of this stuff, and they don't just take what is simple and what is in front of them and do it. Instead, they're like, how can we swerve people a little bit? And it seems like it's Seth's to win until they get that thing of everyone knows it's Seth. What if it's not Seth? And then they just go with AJ for no reason.
And then you got to move people around the card and around the brands. Not that the brand split has meant much, because if you move Seth over to SmackDown and AJ over to Raw, well, then you also have to move the Good Brothers and Mia Yim over to Raw as well. Because we all know that if the Good Brothers aren't with AJ, Good Brothers aren't doing shit. And then if you move Seth over to SmackDown, well, then you got to move Becky, and then you got Trish on Raw as a drafted wrestler. So now you have to move Becky over and be like, the story is like Becky wants to get away from Trish, which doesn't make any sense in and of itself. So it's weird.
Why does Seth have to move though? Here's what I'm thinking.
We have to build some sort of trade-off for winning the title.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Okay. AJ wins the title. Yes, he goes to Raw. I don't think there's been anything said publicly about this. We know AJ kind of was hesitant about the SmackDown stuff before because he wanted to do high school football with his kids and everything. And yeah, he wanted to be part of all that. I know it's not it's not football season anymore, but it's coming up. No, this is
This is not a bit he's trying to say.
Yeah, this is not a bit. This is AJ winning. Again, he wants to do high school football with his kids. Yes, you're right in that AJ's got to stick with the Good Brothers. There's also, again, I don't know if they've said anything publicly, but there was a lot of comments made by AJ and the Good Brothers regarding Paul Heyman years ago. Heyman is mostly tied to SmackDown, even though he has a visitor's pass to show up on Raw. So AJ can win. He gets moved over to Raw with the Good Brothers, and I assume Mia is move her as well. And then we get Cody going to SmackDown, because Cody, the story's there with Roman. That's what everybody wants, the story with Roman. Cody goes to SmackDown. Brock's on either show, so Brock can just follow him to SmackDown. You ain't got to continue that on Raw. Brock can go between whatever show he wants. So Cody goes to Raw. Who else do you take off of Raw with Cody? Find a tag team. Find a female from Raw. I don't have the rosters off the top of my head. The big trade-off is basically Cody for AJ, and then you swap a tag team that's on Raw that maybe isn't getting used right now. You swap a female that's on Raw that maybe isn't getting used right now, and you go from there. So I think the trade-off would be for Cody, not for Seth Rollins.
I don't hate it. It does make some sort of sense. It's a little convoluted. We just have to, they would have to find a way to explain it and not make dorks like us who talk about wrestling all day poo-poo it.
Well, that's how you explain it though, right? Is AJ wins, he wins this Raw title, so now he is on Raw, and you just say like, hey, SmackDown executives are mad that they just lost AJ Styles for nothing, so they have worked out a trade with Raw, and then you just go from there, and this is the trade. Now, look, this is terrible negotiation by Raw, because they have all the leverage of like, we don't have to give you anything. He's the champion. He's part of this brand now. Sorry about you. But you know, some GMs are terrible. Maybe the Raw GM is just terrible, and they gave up Cody Rhodes in this trade. Maybe you just do it as Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes 1 for 5 or 4. 1 for 4. Cody Rhodes for the entire OC. Maybe you don't have to move the Viking Raiders or Dana Brooke over to SmackDown just because you're moving Good Brothers and Mia.
You can't move Dana Brooke off of Raw, because who will be on main event?
Yeah, fair.
You can't do it. You just can't.
Fine, Piper. Piper can move over to SmackDown.
Sure, that's fine with me. I would like that. Ryan in the chat actually saying all the OC to Raw, and then Cody and The Way go to SmackDown. And I don't hate that. There's no connective tissue, but at least you're doing a group that is on par on the depth chart as The Way and the OC, because really, like, The Way are on the TV and it's 2 guys and a girl, and then the OC, same thing, you got 2 guys and a girl, so you're just kind of doing a 1-for-1. It would work. That's not a bad idea.
Well, you're getting 2 girls. Isn't Indy technically? She's part of The Way. They're
right,
doing the thing with Nikki.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing the thing with Nikki right now.
I don't count Nikki as part of The Way, but it would be, you're right, it would be the 2 girls and Johnny and Dexter.
She's not part of The Way, but like, they're doing that story. So I assume they have some type of payoff for that. So that's why I don't know if it would be that'd be really terrible negotiation by the Raw side. Honestly, if that's a trade. You gave up way too much in that deal.
Finally, worth mentioning, because do we want to get into the Bloodline Sammy and KO stuff, or is that kind of just?
I already told you what was going to happen.
Okay, perfect. And then Bianca and Asuka. Is this the end of Bianca's streak? Is Asuka finally going to capture that Raw Women's Championship?
It should be Asuka. I don't know if it will be. But like, if Asuka loses this after her full-on heel turn, I don't know what they're doing with Asuka. And who's left for me? Unless #bow down is in Saudi and she's coming out after this. That's the only thing I can like see for Bianca at this point, because there ain't nothing else for her on SmackDown if she beats Asuka.
Let's take a look real quick at the women. Yeah, there ain't much here.
Bayley. Go for it. I'm looking. You tell me what's there for
Bayley,
Bianca.
There's Bayley again. Io Sky again.
Yeah, because we haven't seen that.
Lacey Evans.
No, I knew you were gonna say that. Nope, don't do that.
I'm just going down. I'm going down the I'm going down this guy. Shotzi, after the stuff with Raquel plays out, that's someone. Tamina, thankfully, could always step in and have a quick match. Yeah, no, there isn't much. You're right. There isn't much. But it is clearly we're going to Bianca and Charlotte at some point. We'd have to do it. It'd have to be at SummerSlam. That's just the only way to do it.
I think. Yeah. Well, that's why maybe that's Bianca does win, and like maybe Charlotte's not in Saudi, but on SmackDown this Friday, next Friday technically, after Saudi, Bianca comes out, and then hashtag bow down. She's out there, and then that's the confrontation. That's the big setup. Joel, have you given a prediction on Bloodline against Owens and Zayn? I know I've worked myself into this fantasy booking of Roman winning all of these belts and everything, but what are your thoughts on it?
I think KO and Sammy win.
Okay.
By the way, next week they are in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania for SmackDown. So if that means anything, Charlotte Flair will be the queen of Wilkes-Barre. Okay, maybe not. No, I do think that Sammy and KO retain. It's still new. There's still meat on the bone. And I've mentioned this before, Judgment Day, when Finn Balor got the pin a couple of weeks ago on Raw, and they were going up the stage and being like, we'll see you after Night of Champions, and I'm going to take those titles. And I was like, why are you giving away the results of the Night of Champions match? It was a little strange. And you can say like, oh, it was heat of the moment. But like he spoke a little too accurately.
Finn doesn't know the result of this stuff. They don't know the result of this stuff until like maybe today.
Yes, that's a very good point. However, it looks bad if your jaw-jacking includes, we'll see you after the pay-per-view when we win your titles after the pay-per-view. Like you just in that moment you have to be thinking better.
They're the champions, so he assumes they're gonna retain. That's all it is.
Why would he assume? He wants the tag titles, but he doesn't know who's going to have them. It could be the Bloodline. It could be Roman and Solo.
Well, now Heyman's going to be upset that he's like, you assumed that Kevin and Sammy would retain, and now we're going to come after you.
Yeah, it feels like we're not going to do that with the Judgment Day. It feels weird. But anyway, that's just kind of my feeling is Sammy and KO win. The Bloodline story is, to me, best when it's insular, when it's internal, when it's the family fighting, not when someone's trying to fight Roman. And we've seen this time and again. Roman continues to do the best work when he's fighting his family. He doesn't. The Cody stuff, the Cody build wasn't nearly as good as Roman fighting against his brothers or his cousins in this case. It's just the way that it's been acted, the way it's been worked out.
So what you're saying is everybody should join the Bloodline,
yes,
infiltrate the Bloodline, and that way they are honorary Usos, and then it all just turns into a turn, and then Roman can continue to fight with his family.
I mean, should have worked for Sammy.
I know it did work for Sammy. That's why I'm saying. That's why this is how it should all play out. Cody's got to infiltrate the Bloodline and gain their trust, and then he can tell a proper story with Roman Reigns.
Cyclops is better than Logan with the cheers over at twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. I want Bianca to turn heel. She was a great cocky heel in NXT, and it will freshen her character up. So I agree that it would freshen her character up a bit. At the same time, you just turned Asuka. Unless you move Asuka over to Raw, you can't really have Asuka and Bianca playing heel. Also, I know you want that because it freshens the character up. Man, let's face it, there are so many little girls in that audience, and boys, there are just so many kids in general that love Bianca Belair, and they're not sick of her character. They're there every week wanting to, spin their hair, do the taunt, whatever it is. They love her, and I get it. It's almost a John Cena-esque mentality with him.
They got Asuka, who just turned heel. They got Damage Control as heels. We ran down this women roster. There's not a whole lot there as it is. There's certainly not a whole lot there on the face side. Charlotte coming back, she babyface or heel. She was kind of sort of babyface when she returned, but that was largely because she was facing Ronda. And by the Rhea match, people were just like, don't know about this. That was a weird blurred line type of thing. I imagine if Charlotte's confronting Bianca, Charlotte's going to come off worse than Bianca when it comes to crowd reaction. I think Bianca's going to get the cheers. Charlotte's going to get the boos in that. So I don't see Bianca turning. I do think it wouldn't be bad for her character or anything. I don't see it happening.
I know I've said this in jest before, but I really wouldn't be shocked if Lacey Evans wins Money in the Bank this year. If they can finally figure out what the hell the character is supposed to be, I can't see anyone else holding that briefcase who would be elevated by holding it on the SmackDown side.
Can they figure out what that character is supposed to be?
Absolutely.
Because you say if they can figure out what that character is going to be, they've had she's been there a while, and I feel like she's had about 5 different reboots over the last 5 years, and they ain't figured it out yet. I don't know if they can figure out what that character is supposed to be.
You know what the character should be? It should just be a woman who puts her foot in her mouth on social media every 2 weeks and then has to walk it back. No, they have that. Her name is Chelsea Green, and that character is working very well for her.
Her theme song, the cops are coming after you for just mentioning Lacey Evans. They're like, nope, don't need to talk about her. Her theme song rules, though. I will say that.
Which one? They've changed it like 50 different times. Remember when she came back as the military woman and they were going to have her, she was one step away from saying, listen up, maggots, and then having Sergeant Slaughter come out and shake her hand and be like, you're the next one, give her the hat, the Sergeant Slaughter hat. She was going to be, Lieutenant Lacey was right there. And they would have done it too. They would have called her Lieutenant Lacey. She would have done the whole 9 yards, but they didn't do it.
No, the Like a Lady song rules. I don't know the other one. The only one I know is Like a Lady.
Some people in the chat giving us a new character for her. I'm not going to repeat them.
Oh boy, yeah.
There's some good stuff in there. Kudos to you, chat. You keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they want to go too much into that, but
me neither. But yeah, that's really the only woman on the SmackDown side of things that I could see winning and having a big moment on, who's also a heel, like Mia Yim, maybe.
Why does somebody on Raw can win? They're gonna blend it. So
let's take a look at Raw real quick.
Trish is gonna win.
Trish winning good work. I'm gonna close my window. One sec. You vamp for a sec.
All right. So Afternoon of Champions and Trish Stratus potentially winning Money in the Bank. I actually think that would be great if Trish wins it. I think she'd like to compete in it because she talks about how she's done all these things. She could just talk about, without me, we wouldn't have these opportunities like Money in the Bank. Now it's a yearly staple. I think Trish coming in and winning Money in the Bank could be fun and prolong things a little bit with Becky. Maybe Becky comes out at the end of Money in the Bank and just kind of confronts Trish after losing this Saturday in Night of Champions.
What if Chelsea wins Money in the Bank?
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be fantastic. I would actually
awesome.
Love that. Yeah. There's nobody else that I'm sitting. Zoe Stark is a big one, but it feels like they're trying to build her more as a world beater, not as a chicken shit, champion. Trish, yeah, there is a story with Trish, like you said, but I would love to see Chelsea Green, man, just
be awesome.
Walking around with that title, being like, do you know who I am? I am your boss now. I am in charge of you, Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce just being like, no, you hold a briefcase that guarantees you a title shot when you want it. Yeah, when I want it. And Adam Pearce is being like, oh my God, this sucks so bad.
I want Chelsea Green on this show, but I want her to fully kayfabe everything. I want her to play the Chelsea Green Karen character on this show.
Let's talk. Let's do it.
We'll do the interview, and we'll ask questions in WWE Universe speak and everything. We're setting the expectation right now. You're not getting any scoops of when she was signed and her return and all of that. She's already done that interview. I want to do a kayfabe interview with Chelsea Green.
I'm into it. I love it. Let's do it. If we can make it happen, WWE PR, let's go. Go if you really want to hear all the other stuff, like go to Fightful and just search Chelsea Green. She just did Out of Character with Ryan Satin. So all that info's out there. But man, we could get some real fun content with this. And I want to do
all
it.
about content. I'm apparently the director of content on this website.
You're the real DOC, not that Doc Gallows BS. Anyway, we got a few more minutes left. Let's shift over to AEW Double or Nothing. I mean, Battleground is happening at the same time. We'll maybe touch on one or two matches, but we talked with Andreas Hale on Wednesday about the good and the bad coming into this pay-per-view. There's still some stuff that is up in the air. For example, the AEW Women's World Championship match is still up in the air, even though Tony Khan said, Jamie's ready to fight. There's still an episode of Rampage to air tonight, and we'll see where that goes. Ethan Page and the Guns versus the Hardys and Hook is now a thing. Sorry, spoilers, but here we are. But that's on the buy-in, apparently, according to Tony.
I mean, it should be.
It should be, and that's something that we talked with Andreas Hale about. And there's, again, a lot. We now know the 21 men in the Battle Royal. It includes Ricky Starks. It includes Juice Robinson and Jay White. It includes Keith Lee and Swerve. A lot of people that we have been waiting to have blow-offs are not having their blow-off tonight or on Sunday night at the pay-per-view. This is a very interesting and frustrating card at the same time. What do you want to start with to put a spotlight on, if you will? That's usually Thursday.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's a different show.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, look, it's the pillars stuff. That's what's going to kind of carry and anchor this pay-per-view. And we've gone really in detail about the build and everything, but this is the first show that we've done since Wednesday. I thought they needed a home run segment on Wednesday. I don't think they got a home run segment on Wednesday. I think they got a lot of the same stuff that we've already seen with, okay, MJF is bringing back the 2024 thing. Like, all right, we got it. Your contract's up. You're the champion. Darby cut kind of a similar promo. And like, it wasn't bad or anything, but it's like, you've said this before. I would have preferred Darby just come out and start smashing him with a skateboard. Like, I'm tired of this talking stuff. Like, I'm here to punch you in the face. And then Jungle Boy and Sammy did backstage stuff that was there. And then they came out and, Jungle Boy took out MJF and held the title and everything. I think we're getting a Jungle Boy heel turn out of this. If not, I don't know what they're doing with him. And maybe it doesn't come on Sunday. Maybe it comes on the following episode of Dynamite. But I think coming out of this event, we're going to get a Jungle Boy heel turn. I think MJF retains. I think MJF and Darby can be carried as a singular program. So I guess Sammy is taking the fall. And then maybe Sammy can go off on his own because Jericho clearly don't care about him in this feud. They've been completely detached from each other.
So Jungle Boy turning heel, yes. 100% yes. My only concern, they put him back with Luchasaurus and we're back to square one, but this time they're a heel tag team going after FTR. Oh, that's kind of what I think they're going to do with it. And I see the positive in doing it because we haven't seen Jurassic Express as a heel tag team, but we're going back to square one by doing it. And that's frustrating. It makes the last 6 months with Christian mean almost nothing. So that's annoying. We'll see what they do. I see in the chat they're talking about Jungle Boy cutting his hair, wearing a suit, joining MJF. See, that sounds bonkers, but it would be funny.
I'm not mad at that, honestly. I'm not mad at that. MJF taking him under his wing, and then, of course, MJF turns on him because MJF is despicable. Maybe, Jungle Boy is hip to the ways, and he gets MJF first. Jungle Boy needs something, though. He needs something, because right now, it ain't working.
The edge was supposed to come when he beat Christian, no pun intended. But when he beat Christian and buried him alive, that was supposed to be the moment. Instead, they didn't do anything with it, and that's kind of frustrating. Darby Allin is Darby Allin. Nothing changes. Again, if Sting gets involved somehow, some way in this whole match, then there is an opportunity for Darby and Sting and MJF to continue going on. And then Sammy Guevara, they're still trying to push him as a potential babyface. And you know what? Not the end of the world if you do it. It's just, if you're going to do it, you better have an idea in mind that's not, I said this on the TV show, now I need to make it happen.
I think, I could be wrong, I think that coming out of this, we get a Sammy and Jericho feud. I think Sammy loses. I definitely don't think he's winning the title. Whether he takes the pinfall or not, he's not winning the match. So he loses, and then we do a Sammy and Jericho feud coming out of this. And Sammy's like, "Where were you? Why didn't I have any help? You abandoned me," type of thing. And that's the feud for Sammy and Jericho after this event.
Problem is, I don't think Cole and Jericho's ending after Sunday anymore. I did until they brought out friggin' Sabu. And then I was just like, oh shit, they have a multi-man match planned after this, don't they?
I don't think so. Sabu ain't working.
No. I'm not saying Sabu is, but I'm saying the fact that they brought out a third man of any caliber to be a part of this means that they're potentially working towards somebody else who can do a match.
Bob Fish, baby. Bob Fish. Let's go.
Check your voicemails, Bobby. I know you
Let's
still
go.
use Bobby Fish has one of those old school answering machines where it had the little tape that's like this big, and he checks it and he forgot to turn it over because it ran out of tape to record on. That's what that's why Bobby Fish isn't back yet. Tony Khan's been leaving voicemails, not even voicemails. He's been leaving answering machine messages on those little tapes, magnetic tapes. You know, hey Bobby, call me back. Be great to see you. Tremendous night of wrestling ahead. We love you. We miss you. Give me a call back. By the way, Tony Khan, we love you. And hey, do you remember that time back in like 1987 when you had a really great match against who was it? Bobby Eaton. Yeah, do you remember that, Bobby Fish? I remember getting him. It's just like a 15-minute diatribe, and he runs out of tape. And that's why Bobby Fish hasn't come back yet, is because Tony Khan ate up the entire message tape.
Bob Fish coming out of the pyramids, right back into AEW, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, he leaves the Luxor. He's just like, I had the grand suite. They gave me the pyramid room. Yeah, the unsanctioned match. I've said it once, I've said it again. It really does feel like Jericho wins and Adam Cole loses nothing in the process. And then they brought out Sabu. However, they also mentioned that Sabu's local to Vegas now. So it's more just like a hometown pop than anything else. So if it's just a one-off and they play it off and Sabu is the great equalizer, does something stupid on Sunday, by stupid I mean like something hilarious and genocidal, suicidal, and all that stuff, that's fine. But Adam Cole, it seems to be moving on to MJF if the rumors are true. We've discussed it here, so who knows? But I don't see Jericho losing. I just don't. I see, if anything, I see Sabu turning on Cole and Strong and just being like, he's my friend first. You just paid me to show up, but I've known this guy ever since ECW. We had that one match one time and Tony was there. So clearly this guy's my friend.
I don't think Sabu is doing anything more than just throwing a chair, hitting Hager with a chair. I don't think he's involved in any type of story on this.
I think he does an air Sabu off of the top of one of the entrances onto the into the arena onto tables. I think he's that far gone. He will do it.
Maybe. I hope he tries to do something, because I want to see how that works and see what he can do in 2023. It'd be fantastic, but I don't think we're getting too much out of Sabu. I don't think he's involved in any type of story. I think Cole wins this match. Maybe he goes and he does the feud with MJF that they didn't hint at, but were reportedly going to hint at. And then we do Jericho and Sammy for the Jericho Appreciation Society. And the Jericho Appreciation Society needs something. That feels like an act that just, it's existing right now. Bless Daniel Garcia, bless all these guys for trying, but it ain't much happening with that group right now. Garcia loses at every turn. 2.0 or they're there. Hager doesn't even wrestle. So
but he likes this hat.
He does. So that's just a group that just sort of exists right now. I think they need something, and an inner turmoil type of feud can work. And maybe it elevates Sammy Guevara coming out of this. Maybe.
Sabu's last match was 2021 in July.
He can do some, something. He can jump off the stage through a table and put Hager through a table. It'll be fine.
That's kind of where I am. That's the move. Chi-Town Spurs with a super chat. Bobby, stop. This is Tony Khan. Stop. Can you make it to Double or Nothing in Vegas? Stop. He sent it via messenger. He sends a singing telegram to Bobby Fish.
Pigeon carrier is how he gets there.
That's right. What else on this card is interesting to me is obviously Anarchy in the Arena. A lot of people have been talking about that, deconstructing that. By the way, happy birthday to Haley from Tag Talk. They do a lot of talk about not only tag team wrestling, but also a lot of elite lore. So this match is for them. And this happy birthday message is for you, Haley. I hope it's a wonderful day. So I have nothing else on the Anarchy in the Arena match unless you do.
Do you think we get like a Callis Takeshita involvement here? Because I thought it was, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Dynamite Go Home show. I didn't think it hammered into, hey, Double or Nothing is a must-see event on Sunday. It's the thing of like, hey, if you watch Dynamite, you know the matches that were going to happen. You're either excited for them or not. Like Dynamite didn't do a whole lot to make you like, oh, now I really can't wait to see this. I thought the ending was a little on the weak side with the Young Bucks. All right, cool. They cost Claudio and Wheeler. Fine. I don't need an ROH tag team title match headlining Dynamite before an AEW pay-per-view. But the Young Bucks are there. Kenny Omega was not there. We haven't gotten a whole lot when it comes to Callis and Takeshita coming out of the turn or anything like that. It feels like they got to play into this somehow. At least Callis. Maybe not Takeshita yet. Callis has got to be involved in this somehow.
Yes, he does. Takeshita, yes, he kind of does. Some because you've already introduced him and he's been eerily quiet on this whole thing. However, if he goes and he ends up joining Dawn and then realigning with, or just aligning with Blackpool Combat Club, who's going to be on the elite side? And if it is Kota Ibushi and everyone's talking about it, that's great. But do you have Kota show up in the middle of this pay-per-view? And
no,
how do you do it?
I don't think you do Kota there. I don't remember a lot of shows, Joel Pearl. Ospreay is the link when it comes to Callis.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Yeah, Ospreay is the link there. And Takeshita actually stays kind of on the elite side. And Ospreay, Bullet Club just sort of like accepts him because he's there and he hates Kenny Omega as well. But he's really Callis is the link to all of that. I don't know if you even have Ospreay show up on this show either. Callis has got to be involved here. And if you're looking for links of how they can bring in somebody, if they don't have Kota and you don't want to put Takeshita with Blackpool, okay, then what makes sense? Ospreay makes sense.
I would have Will Ospreay show up on the Dynamite after Dominion. He's going to be the number one contender for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship at that point. He's probably going to beat Lance Archer at Dominion and that's June the 4th. So June, what is that? The 7th? That's a couple of weeks. You could easily have him show up and take out Kenny Omega and be like, we have a match at Forbidden Door and these are going to be my friends until then to protect me from your band of misfits known as the Elite. Bruv.
I don't know if he needs to do like the Friends type thing. I wouldn't even make it like that strong of an alliance. He's got the United Empire. He doesn't need.
He's got most of the United Empire. Two of them signed in AEW and one of them is injured. That's a whole other can of worms, by the way. I don't know. Happy they sign. Happy they get paid. Why do you sign a guy when he's injured? I still don't get that.
Because it's a nice thing to do.
I get it. It's a good faith thing to do, but like just from a business standpoint, I don't understand it. I don't because
it's again, a nice thing to do, Joel.
I don't understand it. It feels like you're you're hoping, you're investing in someone, and that's great, but there's a big risk on that investment. We don't know how long Mark Davis is going to be out, and we don't know what the injury entails with rehab time, or how severely it can hamper his abilities coming out of it. I don't know. Again, I'm happy they signed somewhere. I also think they would have been signable once Davis is feeling better.
The Demolition War makes a good point. Just go ahead and sign them now until they WWE reportedly had interest. Obviously, New Japan would probably want them back in some capacity, but they can still work New Japan kind of stuff. Like, go ahead and sign them. It's a good faith thing. Like, you're over here looking at like business of like, oh, you're not making any money off of Mark Davis because he's hurt. You could still use Kyle Fletcher as a singles guy. You can still make the name. You can still like use Aussie Open, the name, and keep them relevant. Like, what's this Tony Khan?
How did that
500,000 to him?
How did that work for Jay White?
Well,
Jay White wasn't injured, but Jay White was signed and brought in. And what are we doing with Jay White right now?
Yeah, because they didn't have a plan for
They
Jay
didn't
White.
have a plan for Aussie Open either, if this is the same story.
Again, this is a good faith act, though, of let's sign Aussie Open, let's pay Mark Davis while he's injured. Why are you like mad about that?
I'm not mad about it. I'm wondering what the point was at that venture. Why not? If you're going to do it,
the point is to be a good human being.
Doesn't make sense in this industry. It doesn't make sense to me why you're going to pay the guy through this whole thing. Because again, New Japan could have also brought them back, or at least done something in good faith.
Clearly, they weren't, though.
That we know of. It's true.
I mean, yeah, that we know of, but like, they didn't have contracts. They said since the beginning of the year. Like, if New Japan wanted them, they could have signed them at that point. And when do we know Aussie Open like actually signed? Did they sign before they get hurt? Because AEW will announce it at one point, and then we learn that, oh yeah, they've actually been signed for like 5 months at this point. Like, it's very possible they could have signed Aussie Open months ago, and they just now decided to announce it. And Mark Davis just got hurt a few weeks ago.
Feel like they were signed after Mark was injured. Just given the way that the New Japan stuff was going and their bookings, didn't feel like they were just kind of there. You know, I feel like it was.
They were the IWGP tag team champions. They were the New Japan Strong tag team champions. It's a good faith signing. Like, I feel like you're looking for negative reasons on this of like, oh, this doesn't make sense from a booking perspective or a financial perspective type of thing. Tony Khan ain't worried about money right now. He clearly ain't worried about like the booking aspect of it right now. He's just going to use Kyle Fletcher in random spots and move on from there. He was just he already paid for the guy's surgery. He already paid for Mark's surgery and everything. So now it's like, all right, well, I'm going to make sure he has a steady paycheck while he's injured, because Kyle might lose out on bookings because typically they're only booked as a tag team. It just seems like it was a nice thing to do. You're looking to be negative, Joel.
I'm looking at the history of wrestlers dealing with Tony, the ones who are not happy. And I'm not trying to say that this is going to be a tag team that ends up being unhappy. I'm just saying that a lot of the time it's like, why did I come here to be put on the back burner? In this case, this is forced. I mean, Kyle Fletcher could be brought in working as a singles competitor, and that's great. At that point, why wouldn't you? I don't know. There's just he's gonna work ROH.
Yeah. He's gonna work ROH shows and everything. Like Kyle he'll work the ROH tapings. He'll get steady work as a singles guy until Mark's back.
Yeah, it just doesn't. If you've got this A1 tag team that you wanted, and you were gonna have them against, say, FTR at Forbidden Door, yeah, listen, you can't do that match anymore. That should have been. I don't know. They should have waited it out, at least on the signing. And that's the other thing too. Fine. If you had signed them quietly and you've been sitting on it, I would have sat on it until Mark Davis was better. That's the other side of it. Like, again, let's forget about why did you sign the hurt guy? I'm more interested in why did you announce the signing when the guy is hurt? That is more where I'm coming from. Why wouldn't you wait until Mark Davis was better? Keep using Kyle Fletcher, and someone asked, just be like, tier deal, maybe not, whatever it is. Why would you announce Aussie Open is signed, and now we're all just waiting on Dunkzilla to be back? That's really the crux of the situation.
Why wouldn't you announce it? Why wait until Mark Davis is back? Maybe, again, this might just be...
to promote. You have nothing to promote at that point. You're going to promote Kyle Fletcher alone? That's not Aussie Open. Aussie Open is a tag team. You don't
right, again, this is just a good faith thing.
Again, this is let's take out the fact that Davis is injured and therefore can't compete. Now I'm talking about the announcement itself. Why would you make the announcement knowing that Mark Davis is unable to compete? Why wouldn't you hold off, bring in Kyle Fletcher for whatever you want to bring him in for, and then when Mark comes back, do a big angle, announce that Aussie Open signed together, then you get the graphic, and then it actually pushes you more towards the excitement of having Aussie Open on the roster.
This might be a part where it's like, okay, well, let me get some praise out of this of, hey, I signed this guy while he was hurt type of thing. And so now everybody's like, hey, good job, Tony. You signed Aussie Open while, Mark was hurt, and we're going to use Kyle and everything. Like, they could have kept it under.
Yeah, keep it under wraps until it matters on TV or matters to the actual stories you're telling.
I feel like you're just being negative here, Joel.
I'm really not. I'm just asking why. It's not about why are you signing the hurt guy at this point. It's why are you announcing that you signed them both when you don't have outwardly a plan for them? You can give them money and you can have them work your show, or have Kyle, in this case, Kyle Fletcher, work the show while Mark Davis is still getting paid at home to rehab and get well. Why wouldn't you hold off on announcing that you signed them until you have two healthy tag team competitors who are together, make their debut as a tag team officially on the roster together?
Why does it hurt that they announced the signing now?
Because he completely wasted an opportunity to announce that he has an A1 tag team under his belt. But now he can't go back to that because I have an A1 tag team under my belt. Great. Will they be on the show? No, unfortunately, half of them is unavailable.
Yeah, but Kyle's still on the show.
Kyle's a singles wrestler now. Don't tell me you have an A1 tag team if you can't bring the tag team.
But they're still going to use Kyle. And now everybody in anticipation when Mark Davis is going to come back, they'll be excited for him. It's like, oh, they're signed by AEW. Let's go. Mark Davis is here too.
That just sounds like he's here now. Welcome. It feels
he's
like
going to get a big pop when he comes back from the injury and everything. And he's actually back in action. Tony sees the value when he returns. When they return, Tony is just like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and sign these guys. And because I know they're going to be, now I know they're here long term. And once Mark is healthy, we'll be good to go.
They've signed so many people without the graphic. Why would you sign them and give them the graphic when you don't have the tag team to work with?
It's a graphic. Why do you care so much about this graphic? Because RJ City didn't get one?
Because RJ City didn't get one. It does matter. That's right. Where's my RJ City graphic? They gave Will Washington the graphic. They gave Will the graphic. RJ City deserves the graphic too.
I mean, I agree with you. And Aussie Open deserves the graphic.
When they are able to do the work together.
They've been on the show before. They're likely going to be at Forbidden Door until Mark got hurt. Kyle's going to continue to be on the show. What do you want to do? Just announce Kyle Fletcher? Just be like, hey, we've signed Kyle Fletcher and we're going to continue to use in some capacity, whether it be AEW or ROH. But we haven't signed Mark Davis yet.
You bring Kyle Fletcher in for all these other announced shows. That's fine. Again, they have tiered deals. I'm not saying sign them to a tiered deal. But my point is, you have Kyle. You keep bringing Kyle in. No one's going to bat an eyelash. AEW has made it a thing that when somebody is signed against the graphic, it's a big deal. Okay? This is a big deal that, in my opinion, they've squandered because they don't have the tag team. They have one actively wrestling. Kyle can do as much as he wants, and I'm sure he'll do great work as a single star. He's already proven that when he had the match against Orange Cassidy this past week. But now we're waiting on Aussie Open to come in and be a tag team. But I feel like a lot of that's going to fade because I've already had the graphic. Like there's no surprise is what I'm saying. There's no real surprise here. And I wanted something bigger for Aussie Open when they are able to be a tag team together in AEW.
They signed. What bigger thing do you want? You just wanted them to get the graphic when they're able to be a tag team in AEW.
When you make them a big deal, absolutely.
This is the big thing.
This is the big thing. I think that, and I don't think that I'm overreacting to anything when we talk a lot about stories. But when we talk a lot about the stories and the building and the way in which people are presented on these shows, for better or worse, the graphic tends to be a big part of their stories.
They did Stu Grayson is All Elite again, and then I don't know if Stu Grayson's been back on the show. He's on ROH most weeks. You're putting way too much stock in the graphic, and you're being way too negative when it comes that Aussie Open signed these deals.
I don't think I'm being negative about Aussie Open getting paid. I really don't.
You are, because you're like, why would you do it? Why would you sign them?
Yeah, listen, I got that, and I got over that. Again, I said it at the beginning. It's good that they signed. It's good they're getting paid. I still wondered why Tony decided at that moment to announce that he signed them both, knowing that he had one.
Because Tony loves the pop. He's going to have another pop, and, in 3 months from now, he's going to have another signing to give the graphic to. We don't know how long Mark Davis is going to be out for either. Go ahead and give him this feel-good moment of like, hey, we know Mark Davis is being taken care of during his injury. This is good news for everybody.
Hey, that's fine. I hope he gets well, and I hope it's quick. I just feel like the announcement could have been more impactful. That's all. I don't think
it's an announcement on Twitter. There ain't too much impact it's going to be on this. We're putting way too much stock in like, hey, here's a big announcement on Twitter here.
I mean, most of that fan base lives on social media. So.
Sure, but it's not like it was a Willow deal where they gave her the graphic on, it showed up on the screen on Rampage. That was a big announcement type of deal. This is just, this is just, it was on Twitter. Tony does these types of announcement seemingly weekly at this point.
That's a whole other can of worms, by the way, that we won't get into. But with Double or Nothing on the horizon, is there anything else on this card that we should spotlight? Again, that's the Thursday show. My bad.
CM Punk's going to come back, and Tony Khan's going to tweet CM Punk is still All Elite, and they should hold off on the graphic until Collision when he is officially back. That's what, and he's been All Elite, and they've been paying him this whole time.
Yes, AEW has been All Elite this entire time. That's the graphic. But does he show up at Double or Nothing? I mean, we talked about it on Wednesday. Are you still firm that he does not show up at Double or Nothing?
Was I firm that he did? My opinion changes.
We were both pretty firm about that. I feel like we were both pretty firm about it.
I probably said one thing on one show and then said another thing on another show. I play both sides. That's
no way, you're never wrong. I get it. Really get it. I'm going to go on a podcast later on and praise the Aussie Open signing as like the greatest. And by the way, listen, I know we got pretty heated in that conversation, but I also, again, I think people should understand that I really am happy that they got signed. I really am happy that Mark Davis is getting paid. The only thing that I'm critical of is just the thought process. That's all I'm saying, is just how you market and how you put out this information. That's really what it is.
Can't wait until Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis are on this show.
Beat the shit out of me.
I get them to beat you up.
You're gonna have to call up this clip.
Yeah. Joel was very upset that they announced the signing months before it happened. Could you guys pile drive him and just just give him a good old nice forearm? I'd be like, yeah, sure. That sounds great, mate.
Gonna do the Aussie everything. God damn it. Anyway. Punk, Double or Nothing, no or yes?
I kind of think no, but like I also think yes. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they're saving it for Collision. I think they're gonna continue to hint around it and everything. They might tease it. So I don't know if you caught this on Monday, Joel, during the Orange Cassidy and Kyle Fletcher match. There was that like hint of static in the middle of the match, and it didn't pick up like a ton of buzz, and it didn't happen from what I saw the rest of the night. But people were kind of like, hey, was that meant to happen, or was that a hint at something? So I think there might be like a hint of more Punk to come. I don't think he actually shows up though.
Yeah, I think the hinting is going to be there. Who's going to wear the Cookie Monster shirt this time? And the Chick Magnet shirts? Because it ain't going to be Kenny, tell you that much.
Now, I don't know if it's going to be anybody unless Black.
Oh, let MJF do it. Let MJF do it.
Yeah, MJF might do it. Oh, Yuta should do it just to like really troll and lean into things. Yeah, well, you know, we'll see if anybody hints in that type of manner. I do think we'll get some type of hint when it comes to CM Punk, but I don't think he's going to be there though. Although I wouldn't be mad if they did. MJF wins and then, hey, here comes old Phil to close the show and we get the confrontation. But then there's the expectation of the press conference and stuff, and I think they're trying to delay all of that as much as they can.
Wouldn't be surprised if they say Saturday night, June 17th, join us after Collision for a special press conference with CM Punk and Tony Khan.
Really? They used to do that in the early Dynamite days. They would do like the press conferences. I think after like the first Dynamite, they held one. And then there was another big one early on where they did a press conference.
Only problem is if they do that, it's going to be a lot of people wanting to ask the questions. And a lot of Tony Khan being like, we're not talking about that next. And then it's just take the air out of the tires for everybody.
Going to be a lot of no comments on that. And then I think you're going to get a lot of frustration of like, well, what would that press conference accomplish? They couldn't talk about the only thing we wanted them to talk about.
Join us for a no comment extravaganza after AEW Collision. Yeah.
I think CM Punk in his first promo, which I assume will be that Collision show, I think him in his first promo, he's going to address kind of what needs to be addressed. And he'll play it as story type of thing. But Punk ain't the guy who's just going to be like, yeah, I ain't commenting on none of this. He'll talk around it. He'll say what he can say. He's calculated when it comes to that, but he ain't the guy who's just going to be like, yeah, we're just going to ignore it. And I'm going to say absolutely nothing. This man held on to that Hangman line for like 5 months after he already beat Hangman and took the title and everything. He ain't somebody that's just going to be like, I can let that go.
Wouldn't it be funny if he shows up to a press conference, stack of papers, just slams them on the table, and he's like, and first question, someone asks a question, he looks through and he's like, does it say I can't talk about it in this? Okay, hold on 1 second. Oh, it's there, number 28. Sorry, no comment. Next question. How's your dog? Oh shit, I think that's number 84. 1 sec. And that's the
Larry's good. Just got to say Larry's good. Can't say anything else about it. Anybody got any questions about the hockey Stanley Cup playoffs going on? Vegas, probably in the final by this point. Questions about that?
The playoffs will be over by then. The last possible date is the 18th of June for Game 7.
Well, then it wouldn't be over if we have a Game 7 on the 18th.
Let's face it. We will not have a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Wow. Bold prediction by Joel Pearl. No Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final.
Ever. None. Anyway, it's Friday. There's so much to do this weekend. Jeremy, plug it, and then we'll talk about what's happening on these channels this weekend.
Yeah, look, we didn't cover like half of what we could have covered. New Japan Best of Super Juniors. Yeah, there's an NXT show. Look, at this point, we're over time. So, like, anything you want to talk about from NXT?
Will Joe Gacy win the North American Championship? I mean, I think he will. That's the one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's astounding that Tyler Bate's been in WWE for 2 decades now and is only at the NXT North American title level. It feels like he should have progressed a little bit further by now. But what can you do? Stratton winning the women's title, that seems like a foregone kind of conclusion.
Seems like. I do love Lyra Valkyria. I've put her over a million times on other shows. I've been watching her since she was Valkyrie in Pro Wrestling Eve on the UK, then her NXT UK stuff. She's wonderful. She's one to watch. She's very young, very good.
Okay. And then the rest of the Carmelo probably beats Braun. I don't know what Braun goes after that. Unless I go heel Braun run here.
Well, I mean, I don't think he'll have the title, but a heel Braun run going after some challengers, having some real stories would be fine. I don't know who. Chase U? No, we've already done that.
Creed Brothers? You think Creed Brothers win the tag titles? I feel like they should.
I don't think they do.
That's a shame.
I think Gallus still has some heat on them. I think there's still an opportunity to tell stories, but Creed Bros, I don't know what they're going to do with them. I could see Braun getting a tag partner and beating up on the Creeds.
All right. And Dragunov and Dijak, I hate Last Man Standing. No ladder match on this show. Sean's lost his touch, honestly.
It's true. We should probably ask him at the next conference call. Sean, where's the ladder match?
Where was Ella J to ask that? I don't remember.
Yeah,
Ella actually had a good question about
Blair Davenport.
Blair Davenport. She had a good question about Blair Davenport. But why didn't nobody ask about why no ladder match, Sean? Are you feeling okay?
Nobody asked about ladder matches. Nobody asked when NXT is coming to Mexico or Latin America or Australia. None of the stereotypical has to be their questions. I'm very upset. You let us down, NXT media call people.
It's because I didn't get a chance to get on the media call. I was too busy transcribing stuff instead of being on as part of the call.
Yep. And then honestly, the only other thing I have to say, thank you to Speedball Mike Bailey for having a hell of a showing in Best of Super Juniors. He's not going to the finals. Master Watto beat him last night or this morning. Questionable call, in my opinion, when you've got the A block winner who's on a tear having a great tournament. But whatever, it's not my company, so I'm sure there's something in place for those finals. But Speedball, hell of a tournament.
I think Watto might win this whole thing. I don't know if Teton's gonna win it. He's largely a CMLL guy, so it feels like Watto might win this thing. The two number 2 seeds beat the 2 number 1 seeds in this in the tournament in the semifinals. So upset, baby. They saw how the NHL and NBA playoffs were working with the Miami teams, the 2 8 seeds in the East, potentially going to the finals. One's definitely going. Another one might go. They're like, yeah, let's go with the upsets here.
Whenever I hear Teton and the way they pronounce it, I think of that episode of The Simpsons where Bart loses his soul. And then as he's running, there was something, it's like Bart's going, oh no, it was the Lemon Tree episode. He's tutoring kids in Shelbyville. And then Homer just yells, Teuton, son, Teuton. And now I just think, Teton, son, Teton. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend in wrestling. Impact Under Siege is tonight. Tomorrow is Afternoon of Champions. And then you've got Sunday is Battleground and AEW Double or Nothing. There will be post shows for all of those shows between Fightful and Fightful Select and maybe even Overbooked. Now that I know that Rampage is airing at its regular time, I feel like our Under Siege review might just have to air on Overbooked as well, which is what it is.
You can be mad, Joel. I'm
a little annoyed, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Plenty of stuff, all the scoops at FightfulSelect.com. I'm not going to shill it anymore. Jeremy, plug, let's go home.
Don't follow me on Twitter. Follow AEW new signees, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis on Twitter at Dunkzilla. I think
love that handle, by the way. Dunkzilla is the best handle in wrestling. And then Kyle Fletcher Pro.
There you go. And at Kyle Fletcher Pro. Follow them on Twitter. And congratulate them.
And tell him he did a good job with the signing.
Congratulate them on signing with All Elite Wrestling and give them a justified "this is awesome" chance. Go watch the media call that I did yesterday. Joel was allegedly there as well. Thanks, Joel. Thanks. Great show today, Joel.
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. We'll be back on Monday morning to get in the weeds with y'all after all of these shows. There will be wrap-ups. There will be people to talk to.
I'm going to be a zombie on mine. Tony's going to be talking until 3 a.m. Then I'm going to be doing this show at 10. Oh, Monday's show. It's going to be something.
Let's get Tony Khan to join us because he'll be filibustering in Vegas at that hour.
I'll send him the link. See what
Let's
happens.
go. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you on Monday. Take care and cheers.